Good day to you all, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us on Sim Broadcast for round 4 of the 2026 season of MRC E-Challenge. I'm joined today by Kieran, Redman, and Adal Coşkun, bringing you a race at the New York E-Prix Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Layout Circuit. Kieran, welcome. How are you?
Doing very well, Travis. I've had a racing-filled weekend. Nice to hear your voice. We did miss you in the last round.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I missed you as well. And Adal, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Travis. Nice to see you back.
Thank you very much. Once again, round 4 here at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal E-Prix Circuit. One more round at the Norris Ring in 2 weeks' time. It'll be at the same time. For some of you, like me here in the United States, remember the events start about 1 hour later than they did in previous weeks. So cars warming up in the background. We'll look through the championships, the drivers and then the team standings in just a moment's time, and then we'll do a little bit of analysis of today's event. Here we go on your screen. Well, first, the map of the track. New York E-Prix circuit, tight and twisting circuit. Left-hand corner, turn 1, almost a hairpin before 2 very tight right-hand corners. A fourth corner, a right-hander sweeping out through turn 5, and then a very long run down to split 1. Lots of lifting and coasting there before a tight turn 6, hairpin turn 7. Another long run all the way through the, we'll call it a kink at turn 8. All the way up to the left-hander, turn 9, attack zone outside of turn 10, right before split 2. And then the fast chicane, 12-13, before drivers negotiate turn 14 back onto the pit straightaway line. That corner has been very challenging in the past. Hard to get the power down, and weather could complicate it even further. Ooh, what do we have in store today? We will see. Now, after the track map, we should have some championship standings to show everybody. And there we have it on the screen. Drivers' championship led by Imran Azar, 120 points, 22 points clear of Carlos Maciotis. Gabber in third position on 88 points. Timu Sarkinen and Gerard Fornielis Flores rounding out the top 5. There you can see Nico Patola, Matthias Lango, Ronnie Kronbusch, Cyril Basset, Stephen Martin rounding out the top 10. And then the rest of the drivers all the way down to position 20. Andre Coso on -9 points, penalties accounting for his sub-0 score. Next, the team's championship standings, and then we'll go to Adal for a little bit of analysis about today's event. Still doing some work on that team standings in the background, so apologize for that. Here, the car. Kieran, tell us about the car.
Well, we've got 2 cars this evening, obviously, so we like to split the strategy a little bit here. Practice, qualifying, and the first round of the race are done with the rear-wheel drive version of the car, which you can see here, 775 kilos, both having the same brake horsepower, just shy of 470, with 51 kilowatts to the wheels there as well. For the feature race, we do switch to the all-wheel drive version that you see, and that's the red vehicle at the top of your screen there. So again, you do have the challenge of adapting from rear-wheel drive to all-wheel drive through this event, and it has been challenging for our drivers with, not the same caliber and talent translating from one race to the other through the round.
All right, thank you very much for that, Kieran. Still working on the team's championship standings in the background. Once again, apologies for that. Adal Coşkun has done a lot of reconnaissance, a little bit of testing himself, and a fair amount of his own research. So, Adal, tell us what we can expect from the event today.
Thank you, Travis. Let me start. For this week's race, here's some driving features about the track. Throttle adjustments are important since first few turns are slow, but going on to a long straight at the start of the lap, and we'll see drivers hanging on much percent of throttle instead of lifting, having to use some fine braking to keep the car stable and not letting it hit the wall after going over the curbs, which are still from the old Live for Speed version, and because of that, it's harder to keep control after going over it compared to the new curbs. And that's really important here because there's a long straight after those kind of curbs. Not mentioning it can really upset your balance. I'm guessing that we will also see some boulder lines for braking at the main race for recharging, since there's 2 corners which you have to brake in a straight in order to maximize regen. But it can cost them the angle of best entry into the corner, so we might see some drivers at the main race braking at a cross angle, but braking straight at the same time, if you're getting what I mean. This is caused by the characteristic of the track having long straights and slow corners, and this is my analysis for today's track.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Adal. And I also recall in the past, Tom and I covered an event at this circuit last year, and I think there was one the year before as well. There was lots of optimistic passing through turns 6 and 7. I could get a yay or a nay from Pete in my ear, so I think we can expect to see a little bit of argy-bargy, which I know gets Kieran excited, coming through these slow corners. There we have the team's championship on the screen. Jordan, I don't think that's Jordan Grand Prix there in 11th place. I had somehow missed that earlier in the season. There, 0 points at the very back. Yes, Motorsports leads 256 points, a full 80 points clear of Team Citus there in second. Master Race Car is in third position ahead of Zaffarellis in fourth. Race Green Autosports, that is, I believe that's mostly Roni doing that work, in fifth position. Optivo are in sixth. Why Electric is really difficult. Why is Electric really difficult? We'll come back to Adal for this one in a few minutes. SM Racing there in eighth position, FSR in ninth, and Cruising Street Racers round out 10th position in the team championship. One more time, we'll go back through the Drivers' Championship standings as we're getting warmed up in the background. I've been informed that there were some inaccuracies here that we have since fixed. So Imran Azar has been on top the entire time, still there at the top of the board, number one position, 176 points ahead of Carlos Machiotis, 23 points behind in second. Gerard Fornielis is in third position ahead of Nico Patola in fourth, Gabber in fifth position, Timu Sarkinen sixth ahead of Cyril Bisset in seventh, Roni Krampusch is eighth ahead of Mika Sarkinen, and Matthias Luengo rounds out the top 10. In 11th, Klimchik Magic, Stephen Martin in 12th, Baptiste Hoyste in 13th, Yacine Badal is in 14th position, ahead of Pedro Vitor, Gabriel De Rosa, Pavlo Saitone, 15th, 16th, and 17th. Vitalis Lagutskas ran the first round and then threw in the towel on electric cars. They're in 18th position. Eldar Kadric is 19th, and Yunus Durmaz finishes at the top 20. I think we have cars going on track in just a minute. There you can see Andre Coso at the ignominious -9 points in the Drivers' Championship standings. I can see Jonathan Palmer going around in one of the course cars now, and we just got away from the drivers, the lobby screen a minute ago, so I believe we'll have cars going out on track in just a moment. Qualifying format, 2 flying laps. You're only allowed to cross the line 2 times to set flying laps. So a bit of a scrap to have everyone out there with just 10 minutes time to qualify. Clock counting down from 11 minutes and 15 seconds now. So we'll have cars out there in just a moment. Kieran, tell us a little bit more about the track And let's get a head start on some bold predictions in the spirit of Tom's absence.
Bold predictions did work out really well the last time. I'm pretty sure I went 0 for 0 in terms of the predictions there. But having said that, of course, what can we expect? Well, one thing is definitely guaranteed: close racing, regardless of the field size. Again, classic Formula E, big long straights, heavy braking zones, 90 degree left and right handers, sweeping kink turns where you have to keep your foot to the floor, full bravery required. So what I'm going to say in that regard, Imran Azar's been on a tear, and there's a reason why he has such a margin over the rest of the group. I'm going to go probably for at least one win this evening for Imran Azar, but I believe the other win will be shared by Carlos Matiotis in a one-way shape or form, because he is challenging Imran Azar and will be there to capitalise on whatever mistake may come for him. So watch for those two to put themselves above the others. But Mr. Bisset has been rather quick throughout the championship, if a little bit unlucky as well. So let's see what happens with him there.
He has indeed. Cars coming out on the circuit now. Green flag for qualifying. Sorry, I talked over JP there giving the call. So cars streaming out of pit lane while we're waiting for these cars to warm up and fire off their flying laps. Adal, thoughts from you? What you expect from today? Any interesting, bold, otherwise risky predictions?
So the last time I guess one correct prediction, so I'm pretty happy right now. I think I'm going to get 2 correct predictions today. I think Imran Azar is going to get the pole position for today's qualifying session, and I see that Magic has been putting in some laps, so I think Magic is going to get second position, hopefully. And for the third position, sure, I think Cyril Bisset is going to get third position today.
Ah, fair enough. Yeah, Cyril has been. You both identified Cyril Bisset as a driver who has been putting in time and has gotten really quick. Agree with that. On board with Carlos Matiotis now through this very tight hairpin. Lots of drivers using the handbrake through there, and it appears as though Carlos may have done the same and got just a little bit away from him. On the brakes now for this right-hand corner. Very, very tight and twisting circuit. You can see just how narrow it is. And this chicane right here, if you're looking down at the track map, it is deceptively open, but actually not the case at all. Easy to hit the barriers. Carlos comes out of the final corner, turn 14, to start a flying lap. First one over the line into the first corner now. Misses the apex by a fair margin. Looks pretty good there on the right-hander. Second one of these right-handers coming down to turn 4, another right-hander, and then this right-hand kink onto the back straightaway as he streaks down toward turn 6.
Yeah, Matiotis here doing a great bit of work here on his first flying run. Again, 2 opportunities and 2 cracks at the qualifying setup here. So Carlos Matiotis here wanting to put in a banker lap. And here we have Cyril Bisset here on his first push lap here, getting all nice and sideways through there. Great work for the number 21 machine of Cyril Bisset to apexing that turn nicely. Look how the drivers are having to just close further to the left after that wall finishes there to get maximum entry speed through there. Great work from there from Bisset and from Matiotis. But Bisset on an absolute flight at the moment. Brake as late as you dare. Here he comes through to set the pace. 1 minute and 4 seconds and 0.5. Next across the line will be Magic. Let's see where he ranks up there. Oh, a little bit of a brush of the wall. That's going to compromise Magic's lap there. Unless Bisset has had an earlier moment in his lap, we'd expect him to elevate himself ahead of that. Matiotis crossing the line with a 1 minute 11 seconds, so very much off the pace there, but a banker lap set from Matiotis. We do expect a little bit better from him. And Magic there crossing the line in P2. At the moment, it's going Bisset.
Sure is. I have to apologize for calling the wrong car there as Ronnie Krompush comes across the line to set a time. I was looking at Carolus in the simulator and had Cyril on the screen, and they had very similar looking cars, so apologies for that. Nico Pantola coming through this chicane now, 12-13, looking for turn 14. Neat and tidy out to the wall, no wheel spin. Very tight to the apex, but loses the car midway through the corner. Tank slaps the wall pretty hard across the line. Still didn't compromise him too badly. Minute 4.878. So now Careless, that is Mika Sarkinen, going wide out of the way to let another car through. It appears to be Careless now. It is coming through the right-hand corner. There we go. Out toward the wall, negotiating the chicane. Just misses the wall on the right and the left. Little brush of the wall on the right-hand side of the road. Squeezing the throttle back on. Just clips the barrier on the inside. If he had been an inch wider, I think he would have been okay, but it upset the car badly enough. He chooses to abort the lap. And with that, now we see Gerard Fornieles negotiating this chicane. Very close to the barriers on the left side. Touches the wall on the right. Plenty of respect for the barrier on the left and no impact with the wall on the right side of the exit. To the top of the list, Kieran, minute 4.126 seconds.
Very nice work there from Fornielis there, but I've just draw your attention back a couple moments ago. Both Puntola and Matiotis there submitting their auditions for the Formula Drift Championship there through that chicane drift tapping there on the exit as well, but didn't all work out all too bad for Mr. Puntola there. Third place overall, 1 minute and 4 seconds, 0.8, really close on pace even with that mistake. He does have pace to take this one, should he be able to get a clean lap.
Great onboard here with Mika Sarkkinen, one of the drivers who shares onboards with us. Mika, a VR driver, so you can just see car going around the corner in the distance up ahead of him. Right-hand corner here, neatly missing the barriers. Right, left. Ooh, he misses the right-hand apex badly. Manages to get it down to the apex on the left. Plenty of respect to the wall. Tons of understeer on the way around turn 14. This is a pretty scrappy lap from Mika Sarkkinen right now. 5th position, minute 6.9.
From one Sarkkinen to another, we switch over to Teemu Sarkkinen, the brother there running in the number 69 machine. Again, we have the onboard here of a hot lap here, so let's see what he can do. Track state is currently nice and dry for Teemu here, coming round to set the pace, looking to put his first lap on the board here. Obviously, you've got brotherly rivalry here between the Sarkkinen pair, but obviously both wanting the bragging rights of taking the top position overall. Both have featured heavily in the series previously as well, but nice and controlled here from Teemu Sarkkinen. Looks very composed, very nicely done here in terms of a bank lap. Swinging it wide here, hitting the exit and swings it round nicely. Not quite as flamboyant as others there as well. And we have that. And we have to have a couple of drivers there out on their flying laps as well. We'll update you. For the likes of Imran Azar, championship leader, is out setting a lap as well. But we'll stick with Teemu Sarkkinen here. And Nico there improving his time, but not improving his position. 1 minute 4.5. More work to do for him from third position as it sits right now. Back to Teemu, comes through here. P4 for Teemu Sarkkinen.
Imran Azar just coming through turn 9 now. You can see him on camera approaching the attack boost zone in turn 10. A little bit of a narrow entry, but then gets on the handbrake to get the car around the corner. Just brushes the wall on the exit. Hard on the brakes right before the 50. Misses the apex there at the right hand. Ooh, lots of wheel spin on the way out of the corner. Neatly, flicked into a big Scandinavian flick into turns 12 and 13. Can he get it all the way down to the barriers on the left side of the track? He can. Plenty of wheel spin on the way out. Just misses the barrier with the right rear. Oh my goodness, Kieran, minute 3.6 for Imran Azar. A 10th of a second clear of Carlos Magiotis, who came across the line and improved his time a few moments ago. Magic coming across the line in just a moment as we watch Ronnie Crom push. Here we go, back to Magic, who's coming through turn 14 now. Nice clap of the barrier on the right side of the racetrack over the line. No improvement, minute 9.998, as Teemu is coming through the 14th corner now. I believe he is starting a flying lap. Take him across the line. Oh, no, sorry. Finishing a lap right now, minute 4.441. He did improve the time, but not his position. Go ahead, Kieran.
I was just saying, a statement of intent from our championship leader, Imran Azar, on his first flying lap to set a 1 minute 3.6. That's a banker lap for Imran Azar, so there's more in the tank for him. Ronnie Krompush here on an out lap, looking to solidify his position here in the standings. I want to take a moment for Carlos Montiotis here. 1 minute 3.7 for him. Must have been very proud of that, but then usurped immediately by Imran Azar. Ronnie Krompush there crossing the line to start his next flying lap there now as well. 1 minute 6.5. He will have to find bags of time to trouble the top three there. Gabriel Fornielis there with a 1 minute 4.1. Not quite able to break into the threes, but watch for him to attack in the later stages of this race. But this sets up a very exciting championship fight between our contenders, Imran Azar and Carlos Matiotis.
Yeah, Ronnie Krompush coming out of turn 7 now. Looks neat and tidy. Plenty of respect. Plenty of space given to the wall there. Hard on the brakes. Oh, gets the car rotated really well, but just over-rotated where he got down to the apex. Hard on the brakes at the 50. And doesn't look like, no handbrake for Ronnie to get around the corner there. Plenty of lock-on of the car with these tires. Just does not want to turn in very well. On the brakes, nice and clean. Down to the barrier. Over-rotated the car again. This car looks like it could be working really, really well. But Ronnie just not anticipating how much the car is going to rotate. Out to the wall, trying to get the car all the way down to the apex. A nice four-wheel drift on the exit. Left plenty of space to the blue paint on the right side of the racetrack. And now we go back on with Imran Azar. I believe he's coming down to turn. Let's see, this is an out lap now. So Imran Azar now on the brakes and looks like might be warming up the rear tires. Adal, what do you think?
I think Imran Azar is going at a pretty good pace, but I think Fornielis can even catch up to him. There's lots of positions that you can improve time in this track, and I think what beautiful about this track is there's a lot of straight corners going on to straight, so we can see some interesting places, change of positions going on right now.
Fornielis looking really good coming through turn 7, through the kink at turn 8 now, and on his way down to turn 9. Don't see split times for Gerard, but he does look awfully good coming through the corner there, just inches away from the wall, hard on the brakes. The early turn-in, kind of like Imran did earlier, but it looked like he used the handbrake to cut the car around. So Gerard Fornielis on his way down to turn 11 right now. See how he flicks the car into 12 and 13 like Imran Azar does. He does indeed. And, hard into the wall, we'll see. And it looks like he aborted the lap. Yasin Badal, who I don't believe we've seen set a time yet, now coming through the final corner. But we're looking for Imran Azar to see if he can improve on his benchmark time. Oh, no, he's actually pulled up. He's abandoned the lap. So I think, Kieran, we're just about done here. Carlos Macioidas already done 2 laps. So that might just be it. But it's hard to imagine that Yasin Badal will eclipse Imran Azar for pole position.
Well, never say never. It is the final flyer. He does have the right to go for this push lap. Did get across the line before we hit 0. Currently sits P9 in the standings, 2.9 seconds away from everyone else. Apologies, P8 there is Badal here in the number 45 machine, coming through very nicely again on another push lap. Let's see how he navigates this particular section of the track. It has given the likes of Ronnie Krompusch some trouble. Puff of smoke there from the right front as it cries out for grip. Through the hairpin he goes, clips the apex, runs way too wide there. It's not going to help his lap time overall, but again, there is the opportunity to elevate himself ahead of Ronnie Krompusch if he keeps it clean. Light touch of the wall, extends the corner as wide as he can, hits both apexes very nicely there. Another brush of the wall again for Badal. Here he comes through turn 14 now, keeps it middle of the road, sweeping through, looks nice and controlled, maximized really well across the line. Here he comes, and he does elevate himself ahead of Ronnie Krompusch. P7 for Badal, and that is us done for qualifying.
There we go. Well done by Yasin Badal. Improves his time by about 0.6 of a second. And as Kieran said, jumps Ronnie Krompusch for 7th position. So that is all for qualifying. Imran Azar imperious at the top. Minute 3.623 seconds for pole position in the sprint race. 1/10 clear of Carlos Macioidas, his championship competitor, in 2nd position. Gerard Fornielis in 3rd, about 4/10 back on Carlos Macioidas. So Imran and Carlos, class of the field today. Cyril Basset in 4th, ahead of 1st Sarkinen. Timu in 5th. 6th position goes to Nico Pantola ahead of Yasin Badal, who just took Ronnie Krompusch for 7th. Ronnie Krompusch, apologies for that. For 7th position. Ronnie in 8th. 9th position goes to Mika Sarkinen and Magic there in 10th. All right. Great action from qualifying. And you can see the thing I noted that we need to look for in the race is just how much differently the fastest drivers, Carlos and Imran. I didn't see Gerard go through this corner, but sorry, watching in the background as Yasin Badal practices a pin entry and clouts the fence on the right side of the road on the way in. He won't want to do that if he has to stop during the race. The fastest drivers at the tip top, their line through the chicane visually so much quicker than everyone else. Just the way they flick the car in and let the rear of the car steer it into the middle of the corner and then bring it around to get the power down without having to use the front tire so much, scrubbing off all of that speed. So we'll keep an eye on that during the race. Looks like it could be a little bit risky in race trim. And should weather become a factor, the drivers, this is a very treacherous track. If there is rain today, then that will complicate everything. Once again, track there on the screen for the sprint race. For the sprint race, 6:30 a.m. Pete just said 6:30 a.m. in my ear. Okay, sorry, I was confused about that. 6:30 a.m. track time. I was trying to decide if he was telling me it was 6:30 a.m. at my home, which is not true at all. It's 1:12 p.m. So in a few minutes' time, we will go to the sprint race. Sprint will be 23 laps, 6:30 a.m. track time, so sun just rising over the circuit. We'll have a break after that, then 10 minutes of free practice before the feature race, which will be 33 laps. Kieran, tell us a little bit about the rules for the sprint and feature races.
Well, we've got 23 laps to look forward to here in the sprint race as well. 1 attack zone per driver. We did have Fornielis full foul of this in the last round. He did not take his attack mode, and that cost him the victory in round number 3. Some of you may remember that. So it's important to take that attack zone, which is located just at the tip top of turn number 10. That will give you the attack boost and access to an additional 50 kilowatts at the wheels over your competitors. It's important to use that tactically when you need to. Feature race features 2 bites of the cherry there of the attack zone. Must take that on 2 separate occasions to obviously again inform your race. And as always, we are using slightly different vehicles for each part of the round. All-wheel drive for the sprint race, and the rear-wheel drive for the feature as well, with 33 laps on the cars for feature race. So drivers will have to work on that energy management, going from a 23-lap race to 33.
I want to quickly mention that we saw some cars hitting the wall at the end of the lap, and sometimes it's beneficial for drivers to hit the wall. So how that works is, so you're lefting to not hit the wall, but in Need for Speed, the damage physics are not, how can I say it, not directly affecting your car enough so you cannot finish your lap. So some drivers choose to hit the wall because you're going on a straight instead of lifting, so they do not want to lose their speed going on to the finale.
Makes perfect sense and well understood. A few drivers, as you said, recovered a few laps that otherwise might not have been too good by just simply slapping the wall and carrying on. So with that, I believe we've got about, I'm looking at the clock here, I think we've got 5 minutes until the sprint race. So there's a little bit of chatter in the background while the organizers get everything ready. We're going to lobby screen so they can do the driver's briefing and ready everybody up on the grid. I think we will take a couple minutes to breathe before we kick off the sprint race, and 10 drivers take the grid for what is always, even with only 10 drivers, always incredibly exciting nonstop action. Once again, this is the MRC E-Challenge 2026 season, 4th round at the New York Brooklyn Cruise Tumbler Circuit. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone, to round 4 of the 2026 season of the MRC E-Challenge. today at the New York E-Prix Brooklyn Cruise Circuit Terminal. Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit. It's really hard for me to string all of those syllables together. Round 4 once again today. Sprint race about to kick off in a few minutes. I'm joined once again by Adal, Coşkun, and Kieran Redman. Welcome back, boys. About ready to kick off the sprint race in the background.
Yeah, we really are. We're going to brace ourselves for action aplenty over the next 23 laps. You can just see that on the schedule. 1 attack mode available for our drivers. They need to use it tactically. It's been screamed into their ear. You must take attack mode. It is to your benefit, and that must be used in conjunction with your energy management. Adal, any thoughts on the energy management situation in the sprint race versus the feature?
Yeah, as I said in the analysis, there's long straights, so yeah. I don't think I know anything right now. Yeah, I cannot say anything right now. I'll guess we see in the race.
Fair enough. So some bold predictions earlier, but no bold predictions immediately before we start the sprint. And as we are about to cut to the grid, we have a surprise in the background. I can now see the grid in the server, and we're just about to cut over to it on our cameras. The car is getting out on the grid now as we are ready to do the grid presentation, and here we have it. It is raining. Have not seen this before in Live for Speed. I must admit it's caught me a little bit by surprise myself. Kieran, we've got rain, not just in principle but physically. So we'll come back and talk about it in a second after we present the grid. On the left side here, we have Imran Azar, pole position, just 1/10 clear of Carlos Machiotis in second position. Behind him, Gerard Fornieles in third, alongside a car that looks a lot like Carlos's with the blinking yellow lights on the front. That is Cyril Bisset. Behind Cyril Bisset, we have Teemu Sarkkinen in the next position. Alongside him is behind Cyril Bisset, and then we have Teemu Sarkkinen alongside Teemu Sarkkinen is Nico Patola. Nico Patola here. That is Yasin Badal in 7th position alongside Roni Kronpush in the number 96 race green machine. Behind in 9th position, Mika Sarkkinen, and rounding out at the back of the grid is Magic. My apologies for fumbling the presentation there. I completely lost my graphic with the grid order. There, we can see, looking down the grid now, rain streaking down, overcast, and we are about to take the start in rainy conditions. Light rain, but a wet circuit. 5 seconds to the light. Now 4, 3, 2, 1. Light, unilluminated. And drivers now about to take off for the first corner in very treacherous conditions. We are go. Imran Azar leads Carlos Machiotis in the first corner, but Carlos, a very strong getaway. Really nicely done in the wet. Carlos into the lead in the first corner and fully clear of Imran Azar. In these treacherous conditions, remarkably, cars already strung out. Single file, one car impacting the wall in the background that appeared to be Roni Kronpush, but Carlos Machiotis, incredible start off the line, streaks away down toward turn 6 in first position.
The crunch of virtual carbon fiber in the background there, but look at the cars sliding. Look at Imran Azar there. Amazing work there. Imagine to keep it all in the right direction, but all 4 wheels locked up, full opposite lock, nicely controlled there from Imran Azar. But Carlos Machiotis here has taken this to this like a duck to water, whereas Imran Azar appears to be struggling here. Machiotis looking very comfortable in these wet conditions, but this has thrown an absolute curveball for our drivers, and none looks more affected than Imran Azar, the championship leader. He's going to be holding his breath for a moment, already having a couple of moments on the first lap, but Machiotis is growing his gap, and there we have movers and shakers in the back there. Badal up to P7, Sarkkinen down to P8, Roni Kronpush falling away back to P9 as well. Real shame for him there, and Magic still propping up the table in 10th.
Yeah, conditions like these separate the pros from the amateurs, and Carlos Machiotis, as you said, he's taken like a duck to water, apparently so confident and so comfortable in these low grip situations. Imran Azar closing up ever so slightly toward the end of the lap, but Carlos Machiotis and Imran streaking away from everyone else. These conditions, oh man, they really do. I love racing in the rain myself, even if it's virtual rain. Just the challenge, the poise required to drive the car in tricky conditions. Carlos has mastered it. Big impact in the background. That's Cyril Bisset. Looked like he couldn't tell if he had some help there, if he was pushed wide or if he was already going wide. Able to recover in the runoff zone. We're looking back at Gerard Fornielis now in 4th position. I believe that is one of the Sarkkinens behind him, or maybe Nico Pantola, that is Timo Sarkkinen behind him. So let's see, track state still wet, still raining, so I don't anticipate this is going to go away anytime soon. Imran Azar still sticking with Carlos Macioitis at the front of the grid, but they are driving away from Gerard Fornielis in 3rd position.
Adal with the most aggressive of lunges up the inside of Nico Pantola. That position has gone to Adal. He's finding his way up the order now into P5. He's one of the big movers early on here in this race as well, having to get really aggressive in these braking zones. Imran Azar looking far more composed now. And look at the rain on the screen here. Again, a real curveball for our drivers. They were not warned or briefed about this. They're reacting to this as they can. Imran Azar there, opposite lock through there, keeping it nice and controlled. But the pro that he is keeps it pointed in the right direction. Fastest lap to him, which you wouldn't have said based on what you were seeing on lap number 1. All 4 wheels locked up and braking. Macioitis goes in deep, which allows Imran Azar to close up, but not the opportunity to overtake through that particular section of the track. Macioitis continues to lead. No one taking attack mode for the moment on lap number 3 here now. Again, crossed up on exit is Imran Azar as they come into the hairpin turn here now at turn 10. Again, going through their great exit and squirt out of that corner from Macioitis. He has this position on lockdown for the moment. Imran is going to have to be brave and exploit and extract a mistake from Carlos Macioitis, and who is going the way of the 34 machine.
Carlos getting the power down so well. We saw it on board with Imran there, and you called it, Kieran, just into the throttle and went flying away like Imran Azar was standing still. Starting the 4th lap of asking now. A little bit of rubber banding here at the front, the accordion effect. Looks like Imran a little bit wide of the apex in the first corner. Carlos just looks so poised and so comfortable everywhere on the racetrack. Imran Azar, you could see the wheel spin, the car snaking away from him there. Oh, as Carlos gets away, the car gets away from Carlos as well. So both of them trying to get the power down. So slippery, so challenging on these tires. But the two of them, they're flying away from Gerard Fornielis in 3rd position. These two drivers, just the class of the field right now. Adal.
These guys were not ready. If you guys don't know, the rain tires completely change the characteristics of the cars. So what normally drivers do is they get a normal dry setup and they get a wet setup. But I think that Imran Azar and Macioitis have a wet setup right now, and the whole field from the 3rd to the 10th have a normal dry setup, and that is what is making the difference on the track.
Looking back at Gerard Fornielis now, who is just getting away from the driver in 4th position. So a little bit of a gap behind him to Timo Sarkkinen. Timo Sarkkinen there in 5th with Yasin Badal. Yasin Badal just falling away from Timo Sarkkinen, but front of the field. Let's see, Cyril Basset coming through the final corner now has just picked up his attack boost on this lap. So Cyril Basset choosing to go through the attack zone. 3.5 minutes remaining of a little extra horsepower, which I don't know that they necessarily want in conditions like that. And now looking at the weather forecast in the state, still wet, and 5 laps into the race. I don't know this is going away anytime soon. Kieran, you mentioned earlier that the drivers were seeing this for the first time. I'm going to beg everyone's forgiveness for the bungle at the very start of the grid presentation, because not only are the drivers seeing this for the first time, it's the first time for us in the commentary booth as well. So the rain coming down, the sun just behind the sign there, beautiful shot looking back over the Castrol sign. All of this, a bit of a shocker for all of us.
Yeah, but it looks great as well, and it's had a new dimension and complexion here to the race as well, here at the E-Challenge, and you can see the drivers are taking to it very well. We've had a couple of drivers lock up and go wide. We've got a car running wide there at the exit of turn 10, just to the back of shot there. Not sure who that was here, but here we have Timo Sarkkinen, who's doing really well in these conditions, currently sitting in P4 right now. But thoughts go out to Cyril Basset, currently running in P7. He was right at the front of this grid, but had that moment into the turn a couple of laps ago where he ran deep and had to use the exit to get himself turned around. Taking attack mode at this early stage probably is the right thing to do, trying to close up the gap. And as you mentioned here, do you really want that additional horsepower in these conditions? Well, only these drivers will be able to tell us that we are breaking new ground here at the E-Challenge.
We are indeed. And speaking of breaking new ground, Carlos Machiotis is in control of this race at the very front as we look at Teemu Sarkkinen taking a look for third position in the first corner. Late on the brakes, just gets it slowed down to the apex. Really tight here. I think I called that the first corner. It was actually turn 6 and 7. Now coming through 8, still side by side, coming up to this left-hander at turn 9. So very close racing in tricky conditions. Nicely done by both of these drivers. That is Teemu Sarkkinen holding this position for Yasin Badal, although they may have swapped as we come into the hairpin. No, that is Teemu Sarkkinen still ahead, but Yasin Badal swings the car the other way, still side by side as they approach turn 11, and now they have properly swatched positions with a bit of a chop coming through turn 11. And now cars single file through 12 and 13. That is the MRC machine still in the lead coming through turn 14 as they cross the line. Will they go through the first quarter side by side again? Remains to be seen in just a moment. Magic has gone through the attack boost about 1 minute ago. Hard on the brakes, looking inside again. And this time single file through the first corner. Close racing by these two. At the front of the field, while we watch this racing, Imran Azar has closed the gap ever so slightly to Carlos Machiotis, who had extended the lead to about 1 second. Now you can see Imran Azar, the car just snaking onto the brakes, the rear wanting to step away, but Imran keeping it just barely in control. Carlos in total command of this race at this point.
Well, these two have been swapping the fastest lap as well. They've been trading it backwards and forwards for the last couple of laps there. As Imran Azar is getting into the wall there on the exit. Is there an opportunity here? No, but Imran Azar spins on exit. That is a very awkward and clumsy spin. Gets it going without much delay to the likes of Fornielis and Badal, but that is a huge moment in the sprint race there. Imran Azar spinning on corner exit into turn number 10. All got away from him there, and Carlos Machiotis walks away with 4 seconds to his advantage. It's all going towards the number 34 machine of Carlos Machiotis here, our current leader. Imran Azar, the fastest man on track, but with mistakes like that, this race will not go his way, and now he's under threat from Gabriel Fornielis in P22.
And Carlos Machiotis now can afford to breathe a little bit. He can just focus on his race, put his head down, put in consistent laps. He doesn't have to watch Imran Azar in his mirrors. He certainly doesn't have to worry about Imran Azar looping it backwards into him. Carlos Machiotis putting on a masterful performance today in the sprint race. Neat and tidy through turns 5, 6, 7. The rear of the car just starting to get away from Imran Azar once again. And it looks like, so Carlos Machiotis is doing something really interesting, Kieran, and you've done plenty of time in the seat in a go-kart, so I know you'll understand this. In Live for Speed, we're kind of faking the rain simulation here. So the visuals, a new effect that look really good, but the rain racing is entirely simulated by these low grip tires, and the drivers, they would really just drive around the normal racing line because Live for Speed, looking at Magic, who has crunched the front of that car pretty badly somewhere. As we see close racing here between Nico Pantola, and that is not Rony Krompush behind him. Rony Krompush has fallen further back, so this must be Cyril Bisset and Nico Pantola. We'll keep an eye on these two. The wet line, the dry line aren't simulated in Live for Speed. So there's rubber down on the racing line in the racetrack, but there's no simulation of water on rubber that would reduce the grip as Nico Pantola sends one flying around the outside. That's the attack boost carrying him deep into the braking zone. Now has the inside for turn 3 here, still running side by side and uses discretion, realizes discretion is the better part of valor. Will try to use the extra horsepower coming into turn 6. But the racing line, wet on the rubbered racing line, isn't simulated. But Carlos is driving the car as though it is, and I think he's getting better traction out of the corners because he's squaring them off, getting the car neatly straightened up and getting the power down really well. And you can see Imran Azar going deep on the brakes into every corner and overrunning it, trying to use the front tires to get the car to turn in, and it's just not working nearly as well.
No, it's just an adaptation point to these low grip tires, exactly as you mentioned, and some drivers doing it better than others. Machiotis putting on a clinic. He's now currently in attack mode as well, looking to extend that advantage, but it has come down ever so slightly, 2.3 seconds, a gap back to Imran Azar, who is on a bit of a tear at the moment and has his own attack mode to use there. I think he's cutting right to the back of there, Carlos Machiotis there. I think Machiotis must have had a bit of a moment off camera. That gap was 4 seconds. It's now down to 1.5. The master of the rain so far has come a cropper somewhere on the track back and off camera, but he's now under threat from the ever-present Imran Azar. But as has happened a couple of times, Imran Azar closes up to the back of Carlos Matiotis, but he struggles to find the overtake and has been forced into 1 or 2 errors. Imran Azar needs to keep composed and think of his championship as well. His closest contender is Matiotis, but he does have a points advantage, and if it stays 1-2 for the next 2 races, he will still be ahead. But we'll watch this with bated breath. 3 drivers currently with attack mode. Matiotis, our leader, P7, Nico Pantola, and Mika Sarkkinen in P9 have attack mode there as well. Imran Azar yet to use his, but he does have the gap back to Gabriel Fornieles, so he is going to be able to take that attack mode uninterrupted should he wish.
Looking at Imran Azar chase Carlos Matiotis through turns 12 and 13, that fast, tight chicane. Coming around 14 now across the line. Imran Azar yet to use his attack boost. I do wonder, Kieran, if perhaps, because we're seeing Carlos just losing time, that was a 4-second gap to Imran Azar, now down to a little more than 1 second. I wonder if the attack boost is a serious disadvantage in these conditions with the low grip tires. I feel like Carlos might have to be just kind of gingerly pedaling the car around to avoid getting too much wheel spin. He doesn't want to chew up those tires. He doesn't want to get the surfaces too hot, because then they lose grip entirely. So I do wonder if he's just taking great care here while he survives Imran Azar catching up to him, and then maybe we'll see the same sort of accordion effect. Imran Azar losing time as on board with Gerard Fornieles. He was sawing at the wheel, full opposite lock, both directions, trying to come out of that corner. Carlos managing now the attack boost, about 20 seconds remaining, and we'll see if Imran Azar is able to make hay with additional power, or if it becomes more challenging. Our hypothesis will be tested sometime in the next few laps, because Imran Azar has to take that attack boost eventually, and we're just about halfway through this race.
See, when you have conditions like this, it's like a Rubik's Cube that keeps changing without your input here. The drivers are arriving at these corners with different grip levels at every stage as well. I really do feel for them at the moment. These cars, high, obviously high periods of acceleration, big power deployment when you put your foot to the floor. As you have traffic now for our leaders, we are not expecting this here. That is Magic getting in the way of our 2 leaders, but doing well to get out of the way of Imran Azar, not causing too much of a hold-up. Magic really struggling with these conditions, and the front of his car is the evidence of that, looking like an old British bare knuckle boxer there, all bent out of shape. But at the front, Matiotis and Imran Azar continue to run. I'll finish the point. As I said, this kind of ever-changing Rubik's Cube for these drivers here. They're arriving with big power dumps and deployment out of the corner here, heavy into the braking zones, and the tires are squealing for traction, and they cannot find any. You can hear in every single braking zone there, them scratching and clawing for grip. It is a real challenge for these drivers, but at the moment, our top 3 are doing a great job of holding on to him.
Yeah, and they have gone flying ahead of everyone else. Carlos, Imran Azar, Gerard Fornieles separated by, I think it's about 4 or 5 seconds. We'll wait for Fornieles to come through the timing line. 7 seconds cover the top 3. Timo Sarkkinen back a further 10 seconds behind Gerard Fornieles. So Carlos, Imran Azar still class of the field. Gerard Fornieles doing his best to hold on. Needs to negotiate the back marker traffic at Magic right here. But then further down the order, Yasin Badal, we didn't see it, but I just saw the timing swap. Yasin Badal has gotten through Timo Sarkkinen, and Yasin, the front of that car, is a bit askew. He has clearly been off somewhere, and it didn't look like that when we saw these two close together earlier. So one of them, Timo has been off. Sorry, Yasin Badal has been off somewhere hard into the barrier, and it doesn't look like it's affected him too badly because he just took this position from Timo Sarkkinen. But that car also looking a bit British bare knuckle boxer in Kieran's words. And it looks like he is safely through now. They got a nice gap as they come down the straight, defending the inside line, and I expect he will drive away with this. Gerard Fornieles in the background has picked up his attack boost. That was about 1 minute ago, so the previous lap. And he has 3 minutes remaining of extra power. We'll see if he is able to gain time on the leaders or if he loses it. An early test of my conjecture that Carlos Matiotis was suffering with extra horsepower.
So to talk about the wet track braking, so not only you're braking earlier, you're also braking a lot lighter. So in normal track conditions, you have some idea of a brake balance, but in those wet conditions, your brake balance changes a lot. So what we see right now from the drivers from outside of the top 3 are they do not know their braking balance right now. So right now they are kind of trying to guess where they're trying to braking right now.
Makes perfect sense. Carlos Magioitis just ahead of Imran Azar coming through the first sequence of corners as they come into turns 6 and 7 now. Imran Azar could see both front tires locking from the view I had down over the circuit. So 2 fights on a track. The leaders very close to one another here on board with Timo Sarkkinen right behind Yasin Badal. Will he take a look inside in the corner? Oh, no, he won't take a look inside the corner. He's going to take a look right up the diffuser of Yasin Badal's machine. Yasin Badal well held through the corner to avoid the barrier, keep the car pointed the right direction, and then negotiate the hairpin in turn 7. Obviously unintentional for Timo Sarkkinen. As Adal said a moment ago, very tricky to pick your braking point in these low grip conditions. The 2 of them line astern coming through the corner. Nice grip through the middle of the corner by Timo Sarkkinen. Nearly got the car underneath. Yasin Badal there manages to avoid contact. And what we don't see here, or you can just see there in the mirror, is Cyril Basset right behind Timo Sarkkinen. So this is a 3-way fight for 4th position. Gerard Fornielis now credited with the fastest lap of the race. You can see the purple over his number. So he has made up a ton of time. Only 3.5 seconds behind Imran Azar. So tricky is definitely the best way to describe all of this extra power for these machines in these conditions. Gerard Fornielis almost certainly making up this time going down the straightaways and managing it very well in the corners, able to make up about half of the gap. It was 7 seconds just 2 or 3 laps ago. Now only 3 seconds behind Imran Azar in second. Though Carlos Magioitis continues to hold him off, and Imran Azar yet to take his attack boost. Oh, and just as I said that, Kieran, Imran Azar into the attack boost, and he'll have Gerard Fornielis with extra power right behind him.
Imran Azar practicing his mind reading skills there. Great work from him there to read the script. And up he goes there. 3 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock for his energy usage. And you can just take a look at the energy usage there at the top left-hand corner. 36% for Matioitis, our leader. 36.5 for Imran Azar. So there or thereabouts for both of those drivers. And Fornielis is slightly under target. 33% for him there by about 2%. That's going to be something he needs to manage towards the end of the race as well as we head into the final quarter of this event. Badal still to take his attack mode as well. Energy looking quite on target there. Watch for him to be a threat to the positions ahead of him should he be able to make a move on Timo Sarkkinen in the number 69 machine in P4.
Yeah, and here on these long straights, Imran Azar loses it on the brakes again. Just rejoins ahead of Gerard Fornielis. Struggling to get the car around that hairpin too. So now he is right there in the clutches of Gerard Fornielis. Carlos Magioitis has not put a wheel wrong the entire race. A couple laps ago, I saw him just overshoot turn 2 and clip the barrier on the outside, but otherwise has been nearly perfect, inch perfect all the way around this track. Imran Azar struggling with low grip. Now has Gerard Fornielis to reckon with behind him. And Carlos now with a little bit of extra space. About one of these short straightaways ahead. It's going to be about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds clear of Imran Azar. But Carlos, an incredible performance from him. Imran Azar, also a pretty strong performance just to stay in contact with Carlos after 2 half spins. Cyril Basset now right there behind Yasin Badal, who has lost that position once again to Timo Sarkkinen. Timo Sarkkinen's attack boost expiring in 2 seconds' time. Imran Azar, 2 minutes remaining on his. As Kieran said a moment ago, Yasin Badal, Ronnie Krampusch yet to take theirs. So still a 3-way fight for 4th position. Cyril Basset now, Cyril Basset has gotten ahead of Yasin Badal, because that is definitely, no, these positions have swapped. So Timo Sarkkinen is further up the road. Yeah, I'm a bit confused by what I'm seeing on screen, because that is Yasin Badal and Cyril Basset and Timo Sarkkinen, but they appear to be the car was further up the road. That is Nico Pantola behind them. My mistake. I apologize for that. I confused the gray cars. There we go. So now 3-way fight for 5th position. Timo Sarkkinen a little bit further up the road from Yasin Badal, and now Cyril Basset looking to claim this position. Looks so quick earlier on. Was pretty good in qualifying, quick in earlier races, and today he had that early off. Looks like he got a little bit of help toward the attack boost, even though he doesn't need to use it. He's already taken his. And now Cyril Basset losing ground on Yasin Badal ahead of him, and Nico Pantola fully in his mirrors.
Yeah, we've got an almighty scrap between these three there. There's been contact shared amongst all three drivers. You can see on the screen right now, Badal versus Bisset versus Puntola. It's a three-way scrap for P5 right now. Badal still has not used his attack mode, but he's going to be incredibly vulnerable. He's going to have to take that wide line through turn 10, and he's going to do it on burnt-out tires. That attack mode is not looking favorable in these conditions in these cars for these drivers. Everyone seems to be struggling the moment they do take attack mode. So expect Badal to have obviously the explosiveness out of the corners, but he's going to struggle under brakes and under that power delivery, particularly with the fact that his tires are not they're very, very second hand at the moment. They're not optimal. He has run the majority of the race. He needs to get his attack mode taken sooner rather than later, but expect him to fall behind the likes of Bisset and Puntola.
Yeah, the best he can hope for here is a little bit of help from Nico to try to swipe this position from Cyril Bisset. Here they approach the attack zone now, and does he go for it? No, he does not. So Yasin Badal also wide of the corner. Oh, but there's the help. Oh, Yasin Badal went a little bit wide of the corner. Looked like Cyril Bisset might be able to swipe this position, but then just got clipped by Nico Puntola. So if he's thinking clearly, if he's evaluated the situation, Yasin Badal, this lap, he needs to pedal the car around, keep this gap over Cyril Bisset, and then get through the attack boost. Cyril Bisset giving away time to Yasin Badal ahead of him. As we look at Imran Azar and Gerard Fornieles further back down the road, we can see Timo Sarkkinen right here coming through. This is turn 7. No, he's coming through the first sequence of corners right now on his way down to the back straight. So Timo Sarkkinen 18 seconds off third position. Imran Azar has closed the gap at the front to just 1.5 seconds, but all three of the leaders out of attack boost. And this scrap going on, Cyril Bisset managed to gain a ton of time, even though he had they had contact with Nico Puntola and then looked a little bit scruffy coming through the final 14th corner. And Yasin Badal, too wide out of the hairpin. As you said, I think the state of the tires affecting him badly, and now Cyril Bisset right on him as he comes toward the attack zone.
Yeah, you can just see he's lunging lazy into all of these corners now. Badal incredibly vulnerable here to the both of them, defending fresh air there from Bisset, going to the inside line, which is going to compromise his exit there. His opportunity to take that attack mode was just then, but he's made a couple of little mistakes that's allowed Bisset to get right back on his diffuser. He's going to have to take that in the coming laps time now. I think the time has run out for Badal and his 5th position. Can he exploit a miracle with the additional horsepower in these conditions? I don't believe so, but Bisset is in the slipstream and the draft, shows his nose to the inside line. Oh, and there he goes, closing up as close as he can. He lodges his nose up the inside, but no, a little bit of contact there, but no opportunity for the Frenchman. The number 21 machine not able to make that move work, but shows the intent. Badal needs to take the attack mode. It's going to leave him vulnerable, but you can just see that car is scrabbling for grip here. Bisset is dialing up the temperature, building up the pressure on Badal. Will he crack? We'll wait and see over the next 3 laps.
That was a cheeky look by Cyril Bisset going into the first corner, and a bit of a brave defense by Yasin Badal, just kind of sneaking over toward the braking zone where Cyril Bisset was already fully committed on the brakes. Looked like Cyril Bisset might make a lunge up the inside. As they approach the attack zone now, Yasin Badal, it is now or never, but he chooses to miss it again. Again, like defending clean air. Cyril Bisset on the brakes pretty late, tries to get the car rotated and on the power early. Yasin Badal able to hold this, but now they're going to come across the line to start the penultimate lap of the race, and Yasin Badal is just wasting time. He has 4 minutes of attack boost in these conditions. It's a minute 12-second lap, so he's leaving extra power on the table. We think it might be trickier to drive with the extra power in these conditions, but now he certainly appears to be a sitting duck for Cyril Bisset.
That's a late lunge. That's a lunge around the outside. Wow, big move there from Bisset. Not able to make it work there, though. Went to the inside the previous time and then went to the outside there as well. He's keeping Badal on his toes, that is for sure. It was ambitious from Bisset, more of a statement of intent, but the gap has now grown for Badal. This is the best opportunity he's had to take the attack mode now. If he can make it clean through this next sequence of corners, he will have a little bit of space and the ability to fight as much as he can. It's a much better corner there from Badal. The time is now to him to take attack mode. We wait with bated breath to see if he takes that opportunity into the braking zone now. Here he goes. Apex is really nicely there. Great point out of the corner. This is the moment for him to take it. Let's see if he chooses to do so. He runs wide and deep, does not take attack mode. Again does Badal. That is a huge error there. I really feel like that was the right opportunity to do so, but maybe he knows something I don't.
He's starting to make me wonder if he knows he needs to take it. This is now a three-way fight for this position. Nico Patola has caught up with these two now, so Cyril Bisset, an attack move disabled. So that is going to be a penalty for Yasin Badal. He won't be able to take it on this lap. Nico Patola late on the brakes into the first corner, takes this position from Cyril Bisset. A little bit of contact. We could see the car snaking around, but now he is right there behind Yasin Badal, who will lose this position. At the front of the order, Carlos Machioidis approaching turn 10 now through this hairpin, has Imran Azar right there under his rear wing. Yasin Badal watching two fights at once. Carlos coming through the final corners now. Yasin Badal under investigation, and an aggressive defense coming to this corner. Nico Patola just unable to keep the car under control, and Nico fully cuts the course. Oh my goodness. He's now slowed down to let these two by, which I don't know how that'll work out. Sorry, I'm watching Carlos at the very front. Carlos has started the 23rd lap of the race at the very front with Imran Azar right behind him. I'll keep an eye on them. Kieran, go ahead.
Sorry, this is getting very clumsy here between these three drivers. I think there we just watched Pantola try to redress the place with Badal, and then Badal didn't want to do it. He wants him to get the penalty, but Badal has a 30-second post-race penalty coming his way if we follow the previous round's punishment there. Very clumsy. This is definitely going to go to the stewards, but this could all be more contact over the start-finish straight there as well. Very, very messy from the three drivers, and Bisset is just looking at this, just going, I just want to finish this race, guys. I don't want a penalty, but he might be coming out with P5 here as he lets go around the outside of both of them there. Great work from Bisset, and through he goes. There's just enough room for the three of them to go onto the back straight. More contact, into the wall goes Bisset. Neither of these guys are willing to give an inch. I can't believe it.
Sorry, Kieran, I need to interrupt you because Carlos Machioidis has come out of the final chicane with Imran Azar right under his rear wing. Looked like they might make contact on the way out of the corner. Carlos Machioidis going to win a drag race across the line with Imran Azar right behind. We'll cut back to this fight further back. Teemu Sarkkinen is going to finish in 4th position, but we need to see Yasin Badal and Cyril Bisset and Nico Pantola, who is through now. Nico Pantola is through. Cyril Bisset is through. Yasin Badal is going to get a penalty. I thought his defenses were a little bit on the aggressive and ill-advised side. Cyril Bisset nearly making it 3 wide on a couple occasions. Thought he might do the both of them around the outside of turns 4 and 5. But there we go. Teemu Sarkkinen coming across to finish in 4th position now. And Kieran, I'll let you bring the 3 in the middle of this scrap for 5th home.
Well, it's a big scrapper there indeed. Nico Patola is out of energy there, and he is scrapping to get over the line. Oh, big contact. That was, rather clumsy over the start-finish straight. Yasin Badal plowing into the back of Nico Pantola, probably more out of frustration more than anything, but do not go anywhere. The likes of Pantola and Badal are going to have penalties post-race, potentially, depending on what's happened there, but expect some very angry crosswords to be expressed in the stewards' room. But Bisset has finished up in P5, his rightful place, but let's take a look at our podium roster there.
My goodness me, that was it's always exciting racing, and then we get these conclusions like this one today, all popping off there at the end. A prefabricated background that didn't feature the rain as we cut back to the podium there. Carlos Machioidis, gold medal position, P1. Earned it ahead of Imran Azar. A masterful performance by Carlos Machioidis in tricky conditions. Imran Azar slid the car sideways twice around the racetrack. Might have finished ahead of Carlos Machioidis were it not for those 2 mishaps. Gerard Fornieles, 11 seconds back in 2nd position, faded late in the race. Teemu Sarkkinen 4th, Cyril Bisset, Nico Patola, Yasin Badal 5th, 6th, and 7th. We will wait and see what actually happens there. Cyril Bisset will almost certainly retain 5th position. I think he was innocent in that entire scrap. Didn't see him put a wheel wrong, but Nico Patola and Yasin Badal will certainly spend a few minutes in the principal's office. Roni Kronpush in 8th position ahead of Mika Sarkkinen, 1 lap behind, and Magic rounds out the top 10. Gentlemen, that was a thriller, especially right there at the end. 2 fights going off at the same time. Once again, non-stop action in each challenge.
Yeah, don't quite know what to make of what we saw at the end there. I think you can describe that race as a powder keg. We were just waiting for it to explode, and explode it did in the final closing race laps there, particularly amongst those three, Cyril Bassett, Nico Pantola, and Yassim Badal, putting on a very exciting, albeit questionable, series of attacks and defenses. We'll have to have a look and see if Badal gets, well, what punishment he will get for not taking the attack mode. I believe it was a 30-second penalty applied in the last round to the driver in question there. But Nico Pantola electing to cut quite a significant part of the track. We'll see if the stewards let's take a look at that and maybe establish a few rules around that one. We wait and see. But Bassett, I think the innocent party in that P5 for him there, and well earned for the number 21.
I think if nothing else, we will see a little bit, maybe an amendment to this layout with perhaps a chicane in that runoff area, so you can't so easily cut the course and then just give the position back if you're forced off into the runoff. Adal, your thoughts on a thrilling sprint race?
Yeah, it was a crazy finish. It was a great race. I want to quickly mention what happened with Imran Azar. We saw some spins in the braking zones, and I have a guess about this, why happened. So what I'm guessing is in his West setup, his brake balance was a lot lower than it should have been. And while braking and releasing it, going onto the apex, so you can get great speed onto the apex, it hadn't worked out as it should have been. So I think that's why he spun 2 times in this race. And I think that's what it cost him the race.
That makes sense. Makes perfect sense to me, and I think if that is actually the case, well, regardless of what the cause was, I think we can expect for him to make an adjustment in the feature race and try to reclaim the top spot from Carlos Macioidas. Once again, Carlos Macioidas, the winner today in round 4, the sprint race at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit. Masterful performance in very difficult wet conditions. Will these conditions feature in the feature race? That remains to be seen. We've had a bit of excitement here in the sprint, so we'll take a breather for a moment, and then we will rejoin for the feature race in just a few moments. No, my apologies. We have free practice for 10 minutes. The drivers will have a little bit of time to acclimate to the different driving, the different car configuration for the feature race. So look for free practice coming up in just a moment, and then a break after that to set the grid for the feature. We will return in just a minute or two to cover practice before we go to the feature race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the MRC E-Challenge 2026 season. This is round 4, the New York E-Prix Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit. We've got about 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in free practice. There's the track map on the screen. I am joined again by Kieran, Redman, and Adal Coşkun in the background. Thrilling sprint race, guys. Practice going on in the background. Thoughts going into the feature?
Oh, well, we've had, obviously, I described it as a powder keg. The race was building, and we had little flashpoints, but it all came a cropper at the end of the race as well, with a big fight for P5, which we all witnessed in the sprint race. Had to be seen to indeed be believed, and we have an update for you for a couple of drivers on what we saw on our screens then, but we have the drivers now going through practice here in much brighter conditions here in the simulated New York street circuit here, and they'll be happy to have those full grip tires on their wagon.
And Adal.
So I think the wet and the dry setups, not the setups, the races are completely different things with completely different characteristics. So I think we're going to see a completely different race compared to the last race that we saw.
Couldn't agree more. There you can see a race control message. Incident involving car 45 and 87 investigated post-event. And we have the drive-through. There we go. The drive-through car 87 shortcut via turn 6. Kieran and I we chatted a little bit in the background as we were making the transition from sprint race to our break and then to practice. And fellow Finnish driver Nico Patola living up to a Finnish reputation. Kieran, tell everyone what we realized.
Well, if we can cast our minds back to a very sodden Brazil, can't remember the year, you'll all remember Kimi Räikkönen, the legend that he is, remembering and doing his homework that he went off the off the track and was able to follow the escape road. Now, it worked for him, I believe, in the qualifying session, but in the race, the stewards elected to block that exit to ensure that he couldn't do it again. So, real heads up, I described it as almost street smart for Nico Patola to do the research, to know that that escape road was there and available for him. But unfortunately, the stewards taking a bit of a dim view of it, much like they did with Kimi Räikkönen all those years ago. But it does pay to do your homework, and he might, on another day, have been able to exploit that.
Yeah, and Kieran claims that pun was not intended when we discussed this a few minutes ago, but I think he has recalled that from our earlier discussion. Very clearly intended, street smart indeed. Very heads-up driving by Nico Patola, trying to take a cheeky exit through that runoff area. It is nicely positioned if you wanted to just drive through there and not have to do a whip turn in a tight space. But unfortunately, he did that right under the nose of Jonathan Palmer. If you arrange the cameras that direction, you can see that Nico would have driven right by the passenger side door, unable to get away with that one. Track is dry. No rain in sight. No moisture on the tarmac. Much more comfortable driving conditions for the 10 drivers we have in the event today. Carlos Machiotis on camera now, negotiating the 3rd, 4th, 5th corners, coming on to this back straightaway now. Minute 8.474, so a fair bit slower, about 4.5, almost 5 seconds slower than qualifying performance as he negotiates turn 6, this hairpin turn 7, and takes off on his way through the turn 8 kink and turn 9 now. Imran Azar, class of the field in practice, just 2/10 clear of Carlos Machiotis. And I think it is, I would expect Imran Azar will want to come back and make a statement in the feature. We've seen him do it before. Carlos Machiotis, obviously very strong today, putting in the work, but Imran Azar will want to extend his championship lead and not let the upstart Carlos Machiotis usurp his throne, certainly not beat him twice in one day.
Well, I did predict at the top of the show, Travis, that Machiotis and Imran Azar would share a pair of victories between them. Machiotis winning the sprint race. Will Azar make my prediction come true and win the feature race? We'll have to wait and see. Our two title contenders, they are fast and furious and looking to make an impact on this championship here at round number 4 at the New York Brooklyn Cruise Terminal Circuit.
There on the screen, just a few minutes left in a free practice, 3.5 minutes to be exact. Feature race coming up, 33 laps. We do reverse the top 10 positions, only 10 drivers today, so that will be 10 to position 1, and so forth all the way down to position 10 on the grid. Carlos Machiotis will start 10th, Imran Azar 9th. I believe that'll put Magic on a pole position for the sprint, and then we'll have 2 attack modes available in the feature race. Once again, the attack zone on the outside of turn 10. Yasin Badal taking a penalty in the sprint race because he did not go through the attack zone before he ran out of time to do so. Attack boost not available on the final lap of the race, and Yasin Badal left it a little bit too late. Adal, tell us about the feature race configuration for this car.
So we have the E-Challenger Evo right in front of us, fully electric with the same engine as the two-wheel drive. But we have right now the battery regen. So we're going to see different lines, different braking points, a lot of lifting with today's car.
And notably, rear-wheel drive only in the feature race. We hadn't talked about this during the sprint. I wonder, I feel like all-wheel drive would be an advantage in the tricky conditions that we saw in the sprint race, but I do wonder if that made it difficult to get the car rotated even with the low grip.
It is certainly considerations here. Of course, the cars probably split the right way they needed to be. Well, we've got a car just going through the exit there. Let's see if they elect to rejoin through the side of the path that Puntola did there as well. Just on that point as well, if I can actually just finish up the Nico Puntola saga about cutting the corner, just getting word down from the stewards that another consideration that they had to take into account, while we did appreciate the street smart nature of knowing where that exit was, energy considerations. These cars are managed down the energy to a T, and every percent counts, and that will have no doubt saved a percentage or two for Nico Puntola. So I suppose in lieu of that, the right decision made by the stewards to impose that time penalty so it can't be exploited in future events.
Hadn't even considered that, and that's why they are officiating, and I am merely talking. So heads up, we're going to beat this pun to death. Street smart by the stewards to recognize there is an energy advantage by cutting the course. Suppose Nico might have had a case if he had done a burnout on the way through while he was letting the other drivers by, but even so, bit too cheeky to stay within the graces of the stewards. Carlos Macioitis getting the car rotated nicely around the hairpin. 45 seconds remaining in this session as Carlos comes through turn 11. Yeah, that was turn 11. And he'll negotiate the chicane. He'll get one more lap as he comes through turn 14 right around now as we see Mika Sarkkinen coming through turns 3, 4, 5. Beautiful onboard VR view from Mika Sarkkinen. Left side of the racetrack there, the blue paint. He'll bring the car over to the right. Nice and long coast, jump on the brakes around the 50 to 100 meter board, and then nice and tidy down to the apex. Adal, what do you have for us?
So I was just talking with Yasin Badal, and while he didn't take the boost, he said he wanted to take it as late as possible, but yeah, he was fighting with a lot of people, and he decided not to take it to help his teammates.
To help his teammate. Interesting thought. Well, that's I guess that's big of him. A magnanimous gesture by Yasin Badal cost him a good finishing position, but that's fine, I guess. Mika Sarkkinen,
apologies not helping his teammate. He was just trying to race with them, and he forgot. Apologies.
I was going to say that is a new that's a new racing driver excuse if I've ever heard it there. From the bottom of the barrel, could he pull that one out? We've heard it all now. Yeah, I think it's a simple case of missing the attack mode again. We're all wrapped up in the combat. That was that massive scrap for P5, but he has to be reminded to take it twice in the feature race again. For reminder for everyone, 2 times our drivers must take the attack mode, but it'll be far more favorable with the conditions that we have on screen. Clear blue skies for our drivers for the feature race.
Yeah, I've had to bail out keying my microphone because I've been laughing so hard. Kieran wasting no time calling bogus on that excuse. I'm delighted by that. Looking down at the pit lane camera, red lights on now. The session has concluded, so drivers will finish their laps. Oh my goodness! In the background, I think I have a different view. Oh, we just cut to the view that I wanted to see. We saw Roni Krampusch come through this corner right here just before we switched camera. Carlos Macioitis, I don't know if he was trying something different or if time had run out and he had just let go of the wheel and grabbed his keyboard. But he went sideways into the barrier, nearly flipped the car up on the side of its wheels. Looked rather violent, very entertaining.
Yeah, it was a real moment there as far as I can see, but our driver's now peeling into the pits to call the end of the free practice session for our drivers. Matiotis and Nico Batul already in the pits, but the rest are trying to find their space and get ready to go. Now we're going to head to the results and take a look at the table here to see who was fast and maybe who was not. 8 drivers starting there. You can just see. Oh, there we go. There we are. We've just got the results from that session there. So again, Imran Azar nearly a second clear of Carlos Matiotis there. Imran Azar loving these much drier conditions. A time of just over 1 minute 7 seconds for Imran Azar. Carlos Matiotis there, 1 minute 7.9, just breaking into the top 8. Fornielas keeping them honest with a 1 minute 8.3, marginally beating out Sarkinen in P4 there as well. So we'll wait and see how everyone gets on. But you can just see a much closer grid here than we did in race 1. Those low grip tires from the sprint race causing all sorts of headaches for our drivers.
Apologies for my audio issues there. Thank you, Kieran, for taking that over. Practice has concluded, as we said a moment ago. Imran Azar way faster than Carlos Matiotis in that practice session. 9/10 ahead, almost a full second quicker than Carlos Matiotis. But we know Carlos very quick in these cars, wet or dry, though he did make a statement in the wet sprint race. Feature coming up in just a few minutes. We did our bold predictions for the sprint. Do either of you gentlemen wish to amend them? Do you have anything you would like to add? Anything you hope to see? Anything you hope not to see coming into the 4th feature race of this season?
I'm going to hedge my bets. I did call at the top of the show that it would be Matiotis and Imran Azar sharing a pair of victories this evening, but I think with the amount of scrapping and fighting we have seen this evening, I am going to think our 2 are going to tangle and we're going to see a new winner this evening.
Goodness, that is a bold prediction. Adal?
So we saw a 1 second gap with Imran Azar, so I think we're going to see him win this today's race.
I do also feel like Imran Azar is going to lick the stamp and send it, as they say. I expect this to be a commanding victory from Imran Azar. Though, let's remember, bear in mind that Imran Azar and Carlos Matiotis need to drive from the very back of the grid. That will be 8th and 9th positions because Yasin Badal has departed and does not appear to be returning. So they will be elevated 1 position from where they would be starting. That will put Imran Azar ahead of... Let's see, which side of the grid will he be on? So Imran Azar will be on pole position side ahead of Carlos Matiotis. Recall, Carlos Matiotis made a blinding start in the sprint race in tricky conditions, going to rear-wheel drive only. Can Carlos Matiotis reprise that start? We will see. So the 2 of them need to negotiate the traffic. Grid being set now in the background. And I think we have a thriller on tap for the 4th feature race of the season. Waiting for drivers to ready up in the background. I think we'll take 30 seconds to get a quick breather before we dive in for the feature race. We'll be back in just a moment. Drivers all readying up in the background, waiting for Jonathan Palmer and Stuart Baker to click the button so they can kick this one off. We will have drivers on the grid in just a moment. We will present the starting order, and then we will drive away for what will almost certainly be another thrilling E-Challenge race. Magic will start at the very front of the grid. Championship contenders Imran Azar and Carlos Matiotis at the very back, reversed from the sprint race finish. And there you can see further ahead, just ahead on the left of Michael Malik in our presentation car. That is Magic, the number 43 green machine on the left side of the racetrack. Mika Sarkkinen will start alongside him in the number 13.
Sarkkinen there on the right-hand side there as well, and Roni Krompush on the left-hand side there as well. Nico Puntola lines up alongside him there as well. Watch for him to be incredibly quick, again, with his operation on the circuit. Cyril Basset, the fast-moving driver there, ready lining up on the left-hand side of your screen. Sarkkinen there on the right-hand side there. Gerard Fornielis on the left as well, and our two championship leaders. Imran Azar, the championship leader, lining up second from last. And then we have Kellis Matiotis propping up the table. I cannot wait to see these two drivers blitz through the field. Let's see what they can do. We have drivers all lined up, ready to go. Magic in a position that maybe he doesn't exactly want to be in at the front of the field. Can he hold on to that pole position? We will wait and see. Sarkkinen alongside him there as well. 5 seconds. The countdown is on. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We hold the drivers. Here they go. Holding, and green and go here in New York. It's a great start from Roni Krompush, immediately pulling to the middle of the track to go defensive there. Up the inside. There goes. There, we've just got a real defensive shape being thrown there. Sarkkinen goes around the outside, and Roni is round in front of everyone there. It's a huge pile up there, and Imran Azar has been found the worst of it all there. Kellis Matiotis got through there. Lucky for him there, Travis.
Hopefully my audio is working now. Carlos Magiotis able to get through that Shamazel and up to what I believe will end up being 5th position as he clicks into turn 4, 5, 6. Right behind Magic, who fell off the front of the grid very quickly. Carlos Magiotis alongside him. He gets squeezed by Magic down to the barrier, but Carlos Magiotis has the position. Tire smoke from cars ahead of him as they approach the turn 10 hairpin. More tire smoke as drivers use the handbrake to get the car around the corner. Carlos Magiotis neatly on the power. Mika Sarkkinen still in the lead of this race from Nico Puntola, Timo Sarkkinen, and now Carlos Magiotis in 4th.
Magic has been absolutely swallowed by this group, who's gone from 1st to 7th, and Imran Azar has made zero progress. The innocent bystander in that incident in turn number 1, Roni Krompush there, falling way down the order. He was in the top positions. He's now running P9, just behind Imran Azar. But we have a scrap at the front here. Around the outside goes Nico Puntola. Can a move be made? No. Sarkkinen hangs on to the field there in the number 13 machine. The brothers, he's in a Sarkkinen sandwich here. It's Nico Puntola. I've just realized there. Mika is at the front. It's Finns 1, 2, and 3. Great representation for the flag. And not the inside. Oh, big contact between the brothers there. That's huge there. Nico has been contacted there as well, and it's opened the door to Kellis Matiotis to go up the inside. He has brought him right into play there. That is going to be an awkward family reunion around the dinner table.
Yeah, this was, we were on for just a few moments for a finish, but now Nico Puntola through, Mika Sarkkinen in front, but Carlos Magiotis gifted another position, manages to avoid contact with a scrap ahead of him, and now there on the podium with Nico Puntola just behind Mika Sarkkinen at the front of the field. I want to thank Kieran for jumping in and taking the grid presentation. Apologies once again for my audio situation. Hopefully it all clears up as we watch Carlos Magiotis come out of the final corner, now neatly on the power, very tidy. Nico Puntola looking to the inside of Mika Sarkkinen. Will he fire it late on the brakes? No, but Carlos Magiotis does. Nico Puntola keeps the car nice and tight through the first quarter, nearly alongside Mika Sarkkinen. Now nose to tail, attack mode enabled. We'll look and see if any drivers choose to take it early. Careless nicely on the power, right in the slipstream of Nico Puntola. And now I think Careless can avoid to just be patient. He knows he has the pace to get through these drivers, and he knows that Nico might just punt one of his Finnish compatriots off the road. Nico narrowly avoiding contact, driving toward the runoff, and another position just handed to Carlos Magiotis.
Matiotis doing a bit of a force wave there, just moving his hand to the right-hand side, and off went there Nico Puntola, and up to second position goes Carlos Matiotis. In 3 laps, he's gone from last to second. Great work from him there. Mika Sarkkinen has got to work really hard there in the number 13 machine to keep the fast-moving Matiotis behind here, but don't be afraid to expect a lunge here from Nico Puntola here, who might want to get back on fighting terms. He did not expect to see Matiotis through there, but just caught out in the braking zone, Travis.
Yeah, just caught out in the braking zone. Looked like he left it a little bit late. Also scared Carlos Magioitis. Narrowly avoided contact as Carlos looks to the inside. Mika Sarkkinen overshoots the first corner again. And now Carlos, all he has to do is stay tucked under this diffuser. Ooh! Mika just clipped the barrier there, lost the rear of the car, so that caught Carlos Magioitis out once again. A masterclass of driving in tricky conditions in the sprint, a masterclass of avoiding contact here in the feature. Carlos Magioitis now behind Mika Sarkkinen once again coming through turn 7. Nico Patola just behind and narrowly avoiding contact. Oh, Imran Azar into the barrier. That looked like Cyril Basset behind him. Couldn't tell if Imran Azar had gone long himself or if he had some help, but a nightmare of a race as Carlos Magioitis threw Mika Sarkkinen into the lead of the race. Imran Azar, a race to forget through the first 4 laps. Carlos Magioitis has to be buzzing in the cockpit. He is in the lead of this race from the very back of the grid. Attack boost taken by Nico Patola and Magic there in 8th position.
This has been incredibly scruffy, and this is what you get from a reverse-style grid. Slower drivers at the front, faster drivers looking to make up as much time as possible. And Matioitis, it's taken him all of 5 laps to go from last to first. He is really on a charge, is Carlos Matioitis. Great work from him there. He's usurped the trio of Finns that were propping up the top of the table there with awkward moments for the Sarkkinen brothers, as well as Nico Patola, who has taken his first of 2 attack modes, 3 minutes on the clock for the number 87 machine, who currently sits in P3. Bit of a lock-up there from Mika Sarkkinen, which is going to leave him vulnerable to the fast-moving Nico Patola, who does have the attack mode. He's going to be able to respond and attack here. They're side-by-side there. It's not going to work. It's not going to go 2x2 through there, and through goes Patola up into P2. Now will be the time for Sarkkinen to take the attack mode. Elects not to. Goes defensive there, trying to cover off the likes of Forn Yellison and Azar, who is having a shocker of a race. Azar still in P5, not been able to make the same kind of progress and caught up in all kinds of incidents.
He has indeed, but notably for him, the drivers have not been strung out that badly. He's only a few seconds off the lead, not like the sprint race where in the tricky conditions he and Carlos Magioitis just drove away from everybody. Still pretty close at the front, only a few seconds separating them. Carlos Magioitis. Oh, Imran Azar, sorry. Imran Azar has spun in the first corner. Couldn't see if he had done that. All I saw was tire smoke. Looked like he got into the back of another car. And Imran Azar, he needs to just, I mean, I've done this. I'm sure you've had days like this yourself, Kieran, where you just have to take a moment to slow down, take a lap off the pace, gather your thoughts, take a deep breath, and then put your head down and drive. Right now, I think he's a little bit ragged, a bit scruffy, as you said a moment ago, and he really needs to refocus if he wants any chance of being near the front in this race.
It's just not going his way at the moment. The racing gods punishing Imran Azar, who's been on such fine form for the first 3 rounds of this race, but they are thinking of the championship. Right now, this is going to be a huge swing in the points table as we head into the final rounds at the Norris Ring coming up there. Matioitis is currently running in P1 and looking incredibly comfortable. Imran Azar in P6, fastest man on track, but looking anything other than comfortable. He cannot make progress as Basset is looking to get a move made on Mika Sarkkinen. Up the inside goes the Frenchman, all sideways, and he's lost it in the turn. Imran Azar able to just about avoid that, but inherits P5 from Cyril Basset.
Thought Cyril Basset might hold that with a nice 4-wheel drift, and then he did the lazy half pirouette off the circuit. Gives a position to Imran Azar. Finally, one of these going Imran Azar's way, letting him through instead of causing contact. And Imran Azar late on the brakes. This is a lunge to get under Mika Sarkkinen, but he gets it done. Plenty of respect for Mika. Knows he's not going to compete on pace from Imran Azar. Probably feeling a little bit bad for Imran. Maybe perhaps a bit sorry for him. Cyril Basset looked like he was ready to tuck in behind Mika Sarkkinen there. Ended up taking evasive action, and a late lunge on the brakes is through behind Imran Azar. Now Imran up to 5th and in pursuit. In 4th and in pursuit of Gerard Farnielis in 3rd position. Nico Patola running right there behind Carlos Magioitis, but I assume that this has more to do with the extra energy that Nico Patola is able to expend. Carlos Magioitis just went through the attack boost, so Carlos Magioitis, I fully expect, is going to open that gap once again when Nico's extra energy runs out. And certainly, if Nico keeps doing that, a nice 4-wheel drift into the first corner and then a bit of wheel spin on the way out. Carlos, as you said, Kieran, fully in command of this race right now. He just needs to get his head down, focus, be consistent, and this is looking like a sweep at this point in the event, about 1/4 of the way through the feature. Carlos Mariotis putting his stamp on this weekend.
Incident involving cars 13 and 29 will be investigated post-race. Car number 13 is Mika Sarkkinen. Car 29 is the now retired Teemu Sarkkinen, I believe, as well. There, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there as well. But yeah, Carlos Matiotis there looking like he's going to walk this event so far, providing everything goes well for him. He's in attack mode. That gap will extend to the second place man at Nico Puntola, but Matiotis is having the race of his life, and it's come at the exact moment that he would want it to. He was at a bit of a championship deficit to leader Imran Azar, but right now he's going to be taking home the maximum haul of points is Matiotis, and we have a battle here right now for last place. Magic versus Krompush here. Krompush, the faster of the two drivers. Magic did start on pole, but that was quickly lost. Was there for the number 43 machine, but Roni looking to make a move here. Just noting that our timing tower isn't updating alongside the drivers that have taken attack mode. We will relay that to you, who has what left in just a moment. But Matiotis has taken his, as has Bisset, as has Sarkkinen, and a couple others. I need to take their number tallies down here. Roni Krompush here looking and fighting. Oh, just getting a bit scruffy off into the wall here, but Magic looking vulnerable. We'll wait and see if Roni can make a move on Magic and elevate himself up to P7.
Nico Puntola, another one of those takers of attack boost, and it expired just as Carlos Magiotis was driving through his first one. And as predicted, Carlos Magiotis driving away from Nico Puntola at the front of the grid. Gerard Fornielis has caught right up to him with Imran Azar not too far behind. So battles up and down the order. This green on green action coming through turn 9 and up to turn 10 right now. And at the front, though Carlos Mariotis has now got a 3-second lead on Nico Puntola. He has mirrors full of Gerard Fornielis and Imran Azar not too far behind them. So just about almost 1/3 of the race done now. We're on lap 10, about to start lap 11 in less than a minute's time. Carlos Mariotis leads, a minute left on his first attack boost from Nico Puntola, 3 seconds behind Gerard Fornielis, now right there with Nico Puntola. Cyril Bisset sets the fastest lap of the race in 5th position. He has Imran Azar ahead of him between himself and Gerard Fornielis. Mika Sarkkinen in 6th position. Magic is in 7th, right ahead of Roni Krompush. The two of those battling, having their own race at the back of the grid. 2 drivers retired. Well, 1 driver retired. Yasin Adal didn't even take the grid. Teemu Sarkkinen accused of fratricide and has departed. Mika Sarkkinen waiting to learn if he receives a penalty or not. Nico Puntola going through for his second attack boost, right ahead of his teammate Imran Azar, Kieran.
Yeah, they're great time to take the attack mode there for Puntola, who starts his clock all over again. 4 minutes remaining with 1 attack mode left. That's going to leave Fornielis incredibly vulnerable. And Matiotis is coming to the end of his first attack mode as well. So we'll wait and see if Nico Puntola can make hay with this additional power at his advantage. Just want to cut back to Roni Krompush, who's now elevated himself ahead of Magic there in P7. On his Halo, he had a very interesting message written on there. Why do we need this? I didn't realize the Halo debate was still going on, Travis.
Yeah, in sim racing, I suppose, but the goal is realism here, and we've got to throw some credit to Mike Malik, who comes up with all of these clever, sometimes bizarre. I don't want to call them hacks because that sounds like a disparaging remark. These clever workarounds for features or absence of features in Live for Speed. Yeah, so the goal is realism, and Michael does some amazing work. So Roni, I don't know. We don't need this for sim racing, but it looks real, and that's the part we care about. So, if Roni has complaints about the Halo, he should. He's having a glass houses moment with the state of the front of that car. So, I think we can leave it at that.
I like how you think. You never like a racing broadcaster turn political, but I thought it was worth discussing and having a look. But here we have Imran Azar, P4, looking to make amends here. The fast-moving Bisset is just behind him as well. The fastest lap sits with him. Imran Azar yet to take either of his attack modes. As I'm just hearing, Fornielis has got a penalty, a stop-and-go penalty, for instance, earlier in the race. I cannot recall. It's been action-packed for the first 12 laps. What the exact infraction was there, I believe Fornielis had a bit of an incident on lap number 4 involving another driver. Again, we'll get that information to you when we can. But a great scrap going up ahead there. Nico Puntola and Fornielis there scrapping away for P2 and P3 respectively. Fornielis doing a great job of being able to hang on to this for the moment. Nico Puntola threatening happening with the attack mode. 1 minute 50 seconds remaining just yet. Will Fornielis elect to take attack mode this time? No, it's a train of 4 very quick drivers. Bisset at the rear, Fornielis at the front, 4 of the very best to do it here at E-Challenge, scrapping for the podium positions. We'll wait and see how this one shakes out, Travis.
Yeah, and this one has my powder keg tingles going. See Cyril Bisset just falling off the back of this train a little bit around the end of this lap. But close racing here. Imran Azar has a bit of urgency to his race. He needs to get by his teammate. You would think they'd work together a little bit better, but it is truly a race. Everyone out there for himself. Imran Azar trying something a little bit different to try to carry more speed through these corners. I'm going to go to Adal and get his thoughts. In the sprint race, obviously the car was not working as well for Imran as he would have liked. Might have been able to finish the race in the lead, but a couple of spins, owing to what appeared to be a tricky setup given the conditions, made it challenging for him. And Adal, I'm curious if you've been watching him closely in this race. Obviously, a lot of his challenges have been through no fault of his own. But just watching him and comparing to Careless, it looks like the car he's not as confident in the car as Careless is in his.
Yeah, exactly what I've been thinking. I don't think it's a skill problem, but it's a setup problem. So it's an unfortunate race and unfortunate setup, and yeah, that's what it is.
Fair enough. This train now, Cyril Bisset caught up to it again. Here we go. Line astern through the chicane. You can see the cars snaking through. The rear just stepping out on all 4 of these drivers. Cyril Bisset just not as quick through the chicane, but he'll catch up toward the end of the lap. And now Imran Azar looking under Gerard Fornielis, and looks like he'll have this job done pretty easily right through behind his teammate. Nico Batola now leads Imran Azar third and fourth positions. Imran Azar needs to get by Nico and chase down the leaders.
Yeah, Nico Batola elevated himself to the front of this frantic pack of 4 here. And we're just hearing in the air that Fornielis, they're missing the pit lane as well. He has a penalty to serve, does Fornielis in the 22 machine, but these cars are line astern. I'm hearing that the drivers are needed.
Disabled while we investigate a system issue.
Oh, that's a unique message. We weren't expecting to hear that there, Travis. There we have a system issue for the attack mode, and it has been disabled. We'll have to see what the implications of that are for the drivers, and will they have to take the second attack mode? That is a huge disadvantage to those that haven't taken it, but also has big implications if that's reintroduced towards the end of the race. That's going to throw strategy on its head.
Yeah, that's a new one. Imran Azar wide of the chicane there. Oh, my goodness. Imran Azar just gathered up the car. A lot happening here all at once. Gerard Fornielis has missed the pit lane entrance again, and I believe that is the 3rd time of asking. 6th time, sorry. A lot going on. That's the 6th time. So he only gets 3 laps to actually serve that penalty. So he is, what comes after the principal's or headmaster's office? He might be hauled right into county jail for that one. But Gerard Fornielis just ignoring all of the instructions from the race officials, flouting their commands to come in and serve a penalty. Nico Batola still there ahead of Imran Azar, who narrowly avoided Gerard Fornielis, the other way around, narrowly avoided Imran Azar the last trip through the chicane, but now falling back. Imran, man, I totally respect and absolutely believed your prediction at the beginning of the race, Kieran, but it's just looking grim for Imran Azar, and mostly through no fault of his own. A couple mistakes in the sprint, maybe 1 or 2 small ones here in the feature, but he is not having his best day.
No, Imran Azar, I'm hearing in my ear, is thinking about grabbing the kitchen sink, because that's what he's going to need to throw at Nico Pantola to get himself ahead and grab some more points. He is looking to threaten now Nico Pantola. There's a real scrap for second going on here. To the inside goes our championship leader. Imran Azar has the overspeed, the overlap, and nicely done, all before we even get to the braking zone. Nico Pantola lifting way early, maybe a bit of lifting coasting, maybe recognizing that Imran Azar is the faster of the 2 drivers, but heads up
Car
driving.
22 is no longer being scored due to failure to serve penalties.
Wow, that is
Here
a huge penalty. That is the hammer of all penalties. Named and shamed. You've been making reference to the headmaster's office, but wow, that is huge from race control.
Yeah, unfortunate that they have to make a call like that one, because they make it pretty clear to these drivers, if you break the rules, you have to come atone for it. And it's not like, we don't see them on the screen. Obviously, we have the race control messages that pop up as part of our broadcasting suite here. But they get very clear messages in chat in the simulator. Gerard Fornielis, it would have been plainly obvious to him every time they were giving him instructions that he needed to come in and serve the penalty. And obviously, this is a willful disregard. I wonder if at some point they just pop him right off the circuit, since they have the power to do that. But either way, it's certainly no skin off his competitors' noses. They know that they will be promoted to gain an extra position. Kind of a poor show from the host team. They're in MRC colors, going around and flouting the will of the officials, but it is what it is. We look forward to Carlos Magiotis, who is negotiating turn 7 now. Beautifully done there. He looks so confident and so smooth at every corner on this racetrack. It has been a perfect day so far for Carlos Magiotis, and hopefully for his sake and his championship points haul, he can keep it up through the second half of the event.
Yep, there we are. Gerard Fornieles there pulling off the track there now, finally finding the exit slip road. Gerard Fornieles, do not pass go. Do not collect £200. You are going straight to jail, sir. But there is Carlos Matiotis there, the number 34 machine. Speaking of that, he's got hotels all over Park Lane and Mayfair. Does Matiotis, our leader. He's doing great work, is Matiotis there, our leader, untroubled with over 8 seconds his advantage over Imran Azar, who has been able to put on something of a comeback here. Is Imran Azar. He's the entire start-finish straight ahead of the number 2. We will wait for the championship implications.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil your vibe in the middle of your monologue there, because I was so entertained. But I do note that the Gerard Fornieles did pull off on Nico Pantola lane, which I found thoroughly amusing. So right there in front of one of the course cars, I believe that's Jonathan Palmer there. Perhaps that was a statement from Gerard, or perhaps that was just the most convenient place to pull off. But back to the racing, and Carlos Magiotis, you can't even see Imran Azar coming through the previous corner behind him. Carlos fully in command of this race. 18 laps. We're just past the halfway point. A couple laps ago, Nico Pantola there from Cyril Basset coming through turn 10, and Imran Azar with that nose askew. No fault of his own earlier on in the event. Now Gerard Fornieles has actually retired. We can see only 7 drivers there on the timing tower. Nico Pantola through the chicane ahead of Cyril Basset. Carlos Magiotis in the lead as he crosses the line to start the 19th lap of the race. Imran Azar ahead of Nico Pantola. Cyril Basset with the fastest lap of the race in 4th, 10 seconds back of the leader. Another 33 seconds off of the lead is Mikko Sarkkinen ahead of the 2 green cars. Race Green Motorsports, Rona Kronpush in 6th, Magic there in 7th. Race Green Autosports, Pete corrected. I thought it was Autosports, and then I second-guessed myself. There we go. Magic coming around at the corner there. Magic started in pole position. Did not have pace to hold the front of the order here, but a clean race so far from him. The front of that car not looking nearly as frightful as he did in the sprint, and still well ahead of Carlos Magiotis on the road. So poised to finish the race on the lead lap is Magic, though. I think Magic has already been lapped. Please, no, he is not. That is 52 seconds off the leader. So Magic, staying on the lead lap of the race, which I think is an achievement for many of these drivers with these challenging cars. Drivers as talented as Carlos and Imran at the front of the order. So Magic should be pretty happy with that. As we see Imran Azar swipe the fastest lap of the race, Kieran.
Yeah, obviously we've got a real scrap going there, but I think, Adal, you've got some thoughts on what you're seeing at the moment. Lap 20 of 33.
Yeah, I want to remind everybody that for Imran Azar, race is not over. He's been taking up seconds in these few laps. He took 1.5 seconds, 1.8 seconds. So he's closing up on Matiotis. He is pushing as hard as he can, and their power gap is not that far apart as well. I think he's on 45%, and same as our first place right now. So what about Travis?
I was going to say we'll pay homage to another Formula One driver and say that Imran Azar is pushing like a hell as hard as he can to try to catch Carlos Magiotis, who is coming through turn 14 now, about to finish the 20th lap of the race. And as you said, Imran Azar is flying. We got to see the energy situation. Imran Azar, how does he do this? Somehow maintaining an energy advantage over everyone else in the race while going faster than all the other drivers. That gap down to 5.9 seconds.
Attack mode has been re-enabled with the correct remaining allocation for each driver.
And there we go. attack mode re-enabled, that technical issue resolved, and now the drivers. Let's see. Carlos Magiotis has 1 remaining. Imran Azar has 2. So Imran Azar yet to use either of his attack boosts. Carlos may yet have a challenge on his hands from Imran Azar. Under 6 seconds, the gap is now.
Well, this is classic hunter versus hunted here. And who would you rather be, Travis? Matiotis there. Oh, and there we go. Imran Azar taking the first of his 2 boost allocations. He has been waiting for the word to come down from race control. That was now fixed. Imran Azar has the full fat power of that E-Challenge machine here through the final chicane. He goes into turn 14 to start lap number 22. But that gap is closing. 6.6 seconds, the difference between Matiotis and Imran Azar. We will watch that gap come down over the next few laps. Imran Azar has been doing great work since he's got clear traffic.
Yeah, we saw in the previous event, or perhaps it was in round 2, one of the previous events, we saw Imran Azar leave a little bit of energy on the table, which was an uncharacteristic mistake from him. And speaking of uncharacteristic mistakes, Carlos Magiotis has badly overcooked it into turn 6, locked up the brakes, managed to get them unbound and spinning again, but carried the car all the way into the outside wall toward turn 7, had to bring the car all the way from the right side of the racetrack back into the middle to negotiate the hairpin. That will have cost him a second, perhaps more, that Imran Azar lost going through the attack boost zone on the previous lap. So Careless, so clean and so confident the rest of this race, now gives away a little bit of time. That gap from 6.6 down to 5.2. So just like that, Imran Azar swinging back in his favor. Attack boost for another 2.5 minutes. That'll carry him another 2 laps and change. Careless needs to get his head down, negotiate the traffic of Magic ahead of him, and get back to his clean racing ways. He cannot afford to make any mistakes like that. Race control message, attack mode allocation still required to be taken. I believe that was noted by JP in the last race control message we heard. As we watch Imran Azar now lurking in the background, visibly closer than he was earlier in the race.
Yeah, just over 5 seconds there. Matiotis there, just lapping last place. Magic there, done well to stay on the lead lap as long as he has, our former pole sitter. 4.7 seconds the gap now between Imran Azar and Matiotis, running in the first position right now. 1 minute 50 seconds left on Imran Azar's attack mode. But I'd also like to cast your eyes back to the 3rd place on the rostrum, currently occupied by Nico Puntola. Cyril Basset very close to him, and Puntola is vulnerable. No attack modes remaining for him, but Basset has 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining for his final attack mode. If he can get ahead of the Finn in the remaining moments of his attack mode, that will leave Puntola very vulnerable if he can get on fighting terms with him there. So the battle for P3, P4 is not over.
Yeah, Cyril Basset certainly well deserving of a podium finish. He's had the pace and a little bit of bad luck and a few mistakes here and there, and he is right there. You can see Nico Puntola in view as they come through the first corner. So hats off to Cyril Basset for a strong feature race so far, and there he is in position. All he needs to do is get by Finnish driver Nico Puntola, who can be difficult to overtake. But Cyril Basset, with a little bit of extra energy, already gone for Nico Puntola. He's got 2 minutes of this extra boost remaining. At the front of the grid as we watch Cyril Basset chase down Nico Puntola. Carlos Magiotis still ahead of Imran Azar, but Imran Azar closing even further, visibly closer once again as he comes through the hairpin. Imran Azar still has 1 attack boost remaining, 30 seconds left on this taking as he comes through turn 11, 12, 13 now, approaching the final corner that Carlos Magiotis has just departed. So the final corner separates these 2 drivers. Carlos Magiotis, a minute 7.7, well off of his earlier pace. And I wonder, I can't tell what the state of his rear tires are in, but based on how he's been driving, overcooking the car into the braking zones, the heavy braking zones, I do wonder if he is struggling with rear tire performance. Adal, maybe you can tell us a little more.
Yeah, I've been looking at his tire temperatures, and they look fine, to be honest. They are not at the optimal temperature, but they are okay. He is getting as much grip as he can from his tires.
We wait now as they head into the final section. Through goes Azar here now into that final attack mode section. 8 laps remaining. Both our leaders having one more opportunity to take attack mode, and they must ensure they do indeed take it. Race control very clear that they still expect the drivers to have both attack modes used by the end of this race. Remember, when we go on to the final lap, attack mode will be disabled on lap 33, so these drivers must take it in the next 7 laps. As we start number 26, Matiotis' gap is just over 3 seconds. Imran Azar is closing that gap as we tick off that lap count now. That time is just coming further and further down. But as you mentioned there, Travis, tyres and energy is the concern. Is Imran Azar burning through his tyres in an effort to catch up to Matiotis? Because in the immortal words of Murray Walker, it's one thing to catch up, it is another to overtake.
It is indeed, especially at this narrow and very challenging circuit where contact can spell disaster. Imran Azar knows that all too well through this event. Nico Patola still with Cyril Bisset harrying him from behind. Imran Azar, 1 attack boost. Carlos Magiotis, 1 attack boost. Cyril Bisset, his has run out, so 0 for either of these two. So all to play for in the lead, but Cyril Bisset still with a little bit of his own magic could get by Nico Patola. Imran Azar, I was about to ask, how does this chess game play out? Which one of these drivers flinches first and goes for the attack boost? And the answer is Imran Azar, electing to take the extra power as he comes around to complete the 26th lap of the race. And does Carolus save it? Does he let Imran Azar run this down and try to hold on this lead and then take it for the final laps of the race? I can't speculate. I think we just wait and see how much Imran Azar can recoup, how much time he can take on Carlos Magiotis in the final laps of the race. Let's watch Roni Kronpush, who is through Mika Sarkkinen now. Roni Kronpush, 1 attack boost left to take. Carlos and Roni Kronpush, the only ones, each with 1 attack boost remaining.
I want to quickly come in and say that Imran Azar's fastest lap is 1 second faster than our leader's fastest lap. He's coming in close.
He sure is. In fairness to Carlos Magiotis, he hasn't had to go that quick. He's been able to conserve. Carlos Magiotis skips the attack boost this lap, so he saves it for 1 more lap. Looks like Carlos going to bring this down to the wire. But Imran Azar might just get close enough that he could overtake. He needs about a 1 second gap to take the attack boost and then emerge from the 10th corner in the lead.
Yeah, it's going to cost him time when Matiotis eventually has to go for that final attack mode. We'll see if he elects to do it now. But again, in terms of inroads into the advantage of Matiotis, there it's coming down again, 1.8 seconds. The gap between Imran Azar and Matiotis, the leader. Fastest lap sitting with Azar, 1 second faster is Azar's fastest lap versus Matiotis's, as was pointed out by Adal. They're doing great analytical work from the sidelines. But Imran Azar, 2 minutes remaining on his attack mode. It doesn't look like he's making that great an advantage. But remember, this stood at well over 10 seconds a few laps ago. Imran Azar is hunting him down, and he is locked in on Matiotis in the 34 machine. Will Matiotis elect to take attack mode now? Through they go into this second sector. Matiotis swings it wide. Will he go for it? Yes, he does. Wide, and attack mode is taken from our leader, Matiotis. Closed right up to the back is Imran Azar, but he is now going to be vulnerable with 2 minutes. The disadvantage. Imran Azar needs to attack. He needs to attack now and get ahead of Matiotis.
Carlos Magiotis got through the attack zone absolutely perfectly, neatly inside the blue lines, as tight as he could to the apex, if you will, of the attack boost zone, and fired the corner perfectly, powered down very, very well. Imran Azar had to bleed off the throttle, though, the extra power. Carlos Magiotis has overshot the first corner. He went wide of the apex, about a car's width, and now he has Imran Azar right there under the rear wing, the huge diffuser of this machine. Carlos Magiotis on the power so well, though, like he has been in the sprint and the rest of the feature race. Imran Azar doesn't get away as well. Imran Azar looking inside, looked like he might just fire it on the brakes, but thinks better of it. And now Carlos Magiotis needs to get the power down very well. 4 laps and change remaining in this race, coming through turn 9 for the 29th time, and now down to the hairpin. Imran Azar just a little bit too eager on the loud pedal. The rear of the car snaking away from him, and now too deep. Imran Azar, I feel like he's struggling with the car, pushing it just a little bit more than it wants to give. Careless, even under this pressure from Imran Azar, doing so well to remain poised and composed as he comes through the 14th corner for the 29th time.
We have Bisey and Pontula fighting right now for the third place. They're pretty close. Bisey tried to overtake him 2 minutes ago, but he couldn't do it. 15 seconds ago, he tried again, but he went wide, and he's trying again. Pontula trying to not lose his control over it. Side by side, we have him seen right now. What about Travis?
Nico Patola looks like he's really struggling with the rear of this race car. Carlos Machiotis. Carlos Machiotis locked the brakes and went straight on at turn 6. He's completely missed the corner and gone straight into the barrier. The front of that car badly disfigured now into the barrier on the right side. Careless, he was so good for so long, and now just like that, one small mistake, it's all come undone. He was 2 seconds ahead of Imran Azar. Now he is 1 second behind. He could still take the race. He's got 1.5 minutes of attack boost remaining, but Imran Azar, unlikely though it seemed early in this race, has now taken the lead on a painful mistake from Carlos Machiotis, who now Kieran, he has to buckle down now and just do everything he can to recompose and try to get to Imran Azar.
This battle is not over. 1 minute remaining for Machiotis there to counter-attack to Imran Azar. But you would say that racing owes these drivers nothing. But Imran Azar deserves this victory. The amount that he's had to go through this race, particularly in the first opening quarter, he was in every incident possible. He wasn't able to make the inroads through the traffic that Machiotis was. But Imran Azar here leads the way. Krompush needs to take the final attack mode. And there it is, right on cue. He takes it, runs slightly wide on exit, but he will not fall foul of any penalties for not taking the attack mode. But at the front, Machiotis is trying to close the gap to Imran Azar, but that gap is not coming down, Travis. In fact, it's extending. It's great work here from the pace man here, Imran Azar. 1.7 seconds, the gap between the two of them. That's not coming down for Machiotis. I feel this race has slightly fallen away from him, and it's come quite off the boil, but Machiotis will be happy with this haul of points, no doubt. But this will be going right the way down to round number 5, no doubt.
Yeah, he had this in his hands. It was there for him to take, and then he made just so easy to make that mistake on braking. And then a couple times, the same lap that he made that mistake into turn 6 before turn 7, he then made another mistake into turn 9, just wide into the barrier, and he did it again on the previous lap. His boost is now run out, so he has it all to do on his own. Even machinery between Imran Azar and Carlos Machiotis. They do have to get through back markers. So Cyril Bisey and Nico Patola not far up the road from Imran Azar. You can see them right there. I may have mistaken Mika Sarkin and Rony Krompush just a little bit further up the road. We had seen Rony Krompush come through the attack boost on the previous lap, so that's it. There you can see Imran Azar in the background. So those two scrapping for position. They aren't going to want to yield to Imran Azar because they're having their own fight. So that is the last hope for Carlos Machiotis, but it's also hard to say if Imran Azar will even catch those two. About to start the 33rd lap of the race, you'll see him come through in the background now. So these two on their 32nd lap, Imran Azar beginning the 33rd, final lap of the race. Carlos Machiotis there 2 seconds in the background, 3 seconds now adrift of Imran Azar. Just like that, it can come undone. The racing gods, as you said, Kieran, owe them nothing. Though they threw a chip to Imran Azar, and now he just has to keep the car between the walls for less than one more lap. Oh, Rony Krompush off.
Yeah, Rony Krompush in the wall. That's going to throw a spanner in the works right at the end of the race here for Imran Azar. Not troubling him too much, though. The gap growing 3.6 seconds back to Machiotis now is the second place man here. Not looking to trouble Imran Azar. Rony still has time left on his attack boost. This is a really awkward moment here for Imran Azar. This is going down right to the final few corners here. Rony is quite some distance ahead of Imran Azar, our race leader and soon-to-be continued championship leader, Travis.
Yeah, Imran Azar coming through the final corner now behind Rony Krompush. Rony will drive away to complete his 33rd lap of the race, but unlikely though it seemed at the very start, Carlos Machiotis snuck through a Shamazel that caught Imran Azar, but Imran Azar able to drive up to the lead of the race. A mistake by Carlos Machiotis lets Imran through, and Imran wins 3.6 seconds ahead of Carlos Machiotis. It looked like he had the sweep all lined up, and unfortunately, it came undone right at the last gasp. Nico Pantola, a great scrap with Cyril Basset through the second half of the race. Nico Pantola finishes just 7/10 ahead of Cyril Basset as we watch Mika Sarkkinen come through turns 8 and now turn 9. Mika Sarkkinen will finish 5th unless he runs out of energy, and I believe that'll be Roni Kronpush who would be poised to take 6th. It would be Roni Kronpush right there in the background, so Mika Sarkkinen just needs to cross the line for 5th. Roni Kronpush will finish 6th behind him, and then Magic has already crossed the line, will be classified 7th once these two are through. But the leaders have taken up their positions on the podium. Roni clouding the wall there in the background as we watch Mika Sarkkinen come through. Mika across the line, and as these two finish the race, I do wonder, looking at the gap between Imran Azar and Carlos Magiotis, and then watching Carlos Magiotis on board at the very end of the race, I wonder if Carlos was desperately low on energy and had no choice but to give away the time. I watched him on the last couple laps, over braking into some of those corners. I wonder if he was using everything he possibly could to recharge battery just to make it to the finish. There we have it. Imran Azar on the top step. He somehow finds a way. 38 minutes, just under 39 minutes to complete 33 laps, finishes 3.6 seconds ahead of Carlos Magiotis in a second. Bronze medal goes to Nico Pantola, just ahead of Cyril Basset after a good battle through the second half of the race. Always a thriller, and once again, E-Challenge delivers.
It delivers in spades, Travis. We don't need many drivers to get a great race out of it here. Obviously, you can see 9 drivers, but only 7 taking the finish there, with Fornielis and Sarkkinen unfortunately getting involved in their own incidents and their own challenges with the steward's box. Let's say that and leave that one for another day. But Imran Azar, dominant victory, had to overcome all sorts of adversity. Did Imran Azar, and he hangs on to his championship lead. But Magiotis is following him close behind as we cast our eyes forward to round number 5 and the lap of the Norris Ring.
And that will be an absolute thriller. Such a beautiful track mod, and looks, I mean, these layouts that Michael has done look so good, so true to life, but they're a bit monochromatic. Just a few colors with layout objects, but the Norris Ring in its detail, all of the glory of all of the artwork that Michael has done to put it over the layout looks so good. There you can see round 5 at the Norris Ring on March 22nd, 2 weeks' time, be at the same time as this event today, and we will crown a champion, looking more and more like it will be Imran Azar, but Carlos Magiotis not giving up. Unfortunate for him to have made a mistake today and not sweep the sprint and the feature. We'll take 1 second while we wait for drivers in the interview box, and we will be right back to talk to Carlos Magiotis and anyone else who chooses to join. We'll be right back. And we are back. I want to bow to a mistake a moment ago. Tutu the dog is responsible for the Norris Ring layout. Michael Malik obviously done a lot of the layouts for E-Challenge and helps to organize this series. But Tutu the dog, the beautiful job on the Norris Ring track mod. So thanks very much to him for all of his hard work and for letting us use it in the E-Challenge series. Hats off to him because it looks absolutely incredible. In the commentary box with us today, Carlos Magiotis. Carlos, beautiful job in the sprint race. You were in total command in tricky conditions, and it looked like you had the sweep all wrapped up, and then a late mistake. So easy to go too deep on the brakes, and then Imran always finds a way, able to get by you for the win.
Oh yeah, that just how Imran is, always composed and then ready to take opportunities. That was a mistake on my end. I was on boost and I didn't account on the speed difference compared to usual driving. I think that's it. And I might also have used a little less brake pressure over there, so I went wide well. Unfortunate. I was expecting a nice battle with Imran. At the end, tried to strategize my attack boost so I have it, well, not necessarily till the very end, but as much as I was trying to delay it as much as possible. But it is how it is.
Yeah, unfortunate. Our hearts go out to you. We know you have to be disappointed. But talk about your sprint race. It was delightful watching you in tricky conditions. It was honestly a genius performance in low grip. You looked like you were in another class on the first 2 laps. Imran caught up to you, but then you just kept total command of the race.
I think one of my main advantages there was reasonably short final drive. So I had good launches out of the slow corners. That helped me immensely. Plus, on this track, it is quite hard to pass. So, yeah, I think my setup was better for this track, considering all the very tight and short. Tight and acute corners.
Careless, Kieran here. Great work this evening, and it's been a really good weekend for you as well. 2 victories from 3 races and a second place as well. A visit to the roster on every event that you've entered with us. Just casting our eyes forward to the Norris Ring, how are you fancying your chances of racing there in the final round? Obviously, you've got a bit of a deficit to Imran Azar. Do you think you can overcome him at the Norris Ring? And have you had the opportunity to practice yet?
No, I'm not sure. I have seen the layout. So, yeah, not sure. Regarding championship, I am comfortable in second place because Imran is just so fast. I don't think I'll be able to overtake him unless he has to skip the final round or something like that. But otherwise, if he's racing, I don't really think there are chances if nothing bad happens.
Could you also please tell us main differences between the setups of the dry setup and the wet setup?
So in this case, it was actually quite hard to put heat into the wet setup tires, the road tires. So one difference, well, obviously the different compound, also due to the heat I just mentioned, it has to run at extremely low pressures. So the formula does feel like a boat. It just takes a lot of yaw in the corners to actually turn.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, Careless, we look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks' time at the Norris Ring. Congratulations to you on the sprint race today, and though you certainly wanted to win the race, well done to hold on to second position.
Thank you.
All right, we have Imran Azar in the commentary box now. Imran, somehow you find a way. It looked like Careless had the measure of you, up and down the sprint race, and then you were very unfortunate to be caught in a couple incidents, no fault of your own in the feature. But then you charged hard, and one little mistake from Careless gave you the win.
Yeah, I guess the last race was a bit lucky. I guess I don't know. I think he was a bit concerned with his energy at the end, so that's why he kind of got distracted a bit, and which was fortunate, I guess, to inherit the way I did. But yeah, I mean, overall the whole weekend itself, sprint race went okay. I mean, had a not as great start as Careless, but managed to sort of keep it clean. But I think there was no way past, to be honest. It was really difficult with the wets to actually make a proper attempt, especially with exits and braking. I kept making too many mistakes in the wet, which it's not ideal. But in the sprint race, I think with the sprint race, at least it was more down to my experience with this track the past few years, because I already had a setup for it and I knew it worked, so I was like, okay, use that, and it paid dividends.
Imran, it's Kieran here. Great work this evening. I know you're not too happy with the sprint race, but you were a master in the feature, and you had everything thrown at you, including the kitchen sink in the early stages of the race. But how did you remain composed through that? Obviously, you saw Matiotis there get up the road and through everyone. I think you were still back in P6. How did you keep calm in that situation when you have such a pace advantage over the grid?
I mean, to be honest, that's always my approach in races, is to, just be patient. I mean, it might seem like a long stretch target, when you see your rival like way ahead and like especially that early in the race, but I was kind of like confident enough in my pace that I knew like, okay, as long as I can pick everyone else one by one and then get clean air from there, I think that's the way I can try to win the race at least. So it's also like a bit of like, for me, it's an endurance mindset as well, like because I've been doing quite a lot of endurance races lately as well. So like, it's all about patience and like, trying to not get killed. And like, it's trying to like, this motto of like, to finish first you have to finish. So yeah, it's basically that.
All right, well, that is Carolus Magiotis. Sorry, not Carolus Magiotis. That is Imran Azar, who defeated Carolus Magiotis in the feature race today. My apologies, Imran. Well done today on your championship points haul. You're going into the final round, round 5 in the lead. I have to believe that you're feeling good about your chances.
Yeah, I guess. We'll see.
All right, well, good luck to you. We'll talk to you again in a couple weeks' time. Congratulations on the feature race win today. That is Imran Azar.
So, thank you.
And now we will welcome Cyril Bisset into the commentary box. Cyril, I'm going to level with you. Kieran and I don't really want to talk to you much about your race. We really want to know about your day spent near Nico Pantola.
I did spend quite a lot of time next to him, behind him, mainly in both races. We had company during the sprint race in the form of Bidal, and well, we know how that one ended. But yeah, nice sprint race. I made a mistake in the back straight and went straight into the escape road. I didn't attempt the Finn shortcut.
Yeah, that's the bit we're wondering about.
No, but toward the end, when I was trying to get past Nico and Yasin, Nico made that mistake that had him go through the shortcut. So I thought, oh, great, that's one place for me. And going around the corner, I see 2 cars in front of me. What's going on? And that's when I saw Nico was actually still in front of me.
Now, I imagine that was a very confusing moment for you. I mean, could you just describe what it was like to be in the middle of that battle? We were commentating on, let's say, some of the questionable moments and things we were seeing from the other 2 contenders in that fight. And we were just saying there, well, Cyril's just doing the right thing here. He's sticking within the rules and seems to be running quite a competitive race here. What were your thoughts while all the shenanigans were happening around you?
Well, while Nico was still behind me, I was mainly trying to get past Yasin, but unfortunately he was defending very aggressively. I don't think he did anything too egregious during that time, but I tried a few dives here and there, and I lost the position to Nico, so it was a bit difficult. I knew Yasin had missed his opportunity to get the boost, so I wasn't trying that hard to get past him, but I didn't want Nico to overtake me either, so that was a bit difficult one.
And then in the feature race, you had another great scrap with him. You weren't able to get past, but you spent the second half of the race basically nose to tail, and that looked like, without a complicating factor to spoil your battle, that looked like a good scrap between the 2 of you.
Yeah, I unfortunately was involved in the turn 1 incident, so I had to make my way up the order. But yeah, it was really nice catching up to the group in front. Imran made he just went through every one of us. We weren't even obstacles to him. and after that, I mainly managed to stick somewhat with Nico, but he had more battery left, so I just couldn't catch up to him. Especially on the exits of turns, he was flying away, and I was struggling to get traction. So I was just trying to catch up in the braking, but that didn't happen.
So I know you've had a few challenging races in the past few weeks, but today a pretty positive event for you. Good finish in the sprint and also in the feature. You held the fastest lap of the race for a fair chunk of the feature race. I have to believe you're happy with how everything came out today.
Yeah, I definitely didn't get a win in the sprint, even a podium, but I also didn't get a DNF during the feature race. So. Yeah, P5, P4, that's fine too for me. Quite happy.
Well, good. Well done to you. Thanks for joining us in the commentary box, and we will see you again in a couple weeks' time.
Thank you. See you again.
All right. I believe that is all of our interviews. We want to thank everybody, Carolus, Cyril Basset, and Imran Azar for joining us in the booth. Gentlemen, your final thoughts as we finish off round 4.
I think from my side, it's just a simple case of, looking forward to the final round of this championship. I had the immense pleasure and honour of commentating on the first ever Norris Ring event that we did here on Sim Broadcast with Pete Butcher. It was a great event, a real good moment to be there. And Tutu the dog's done an amazing job with that. And if anyone hasn't watched that broadcast, I cannot encourage you enough to go back and watch that stream, because the racing was excellent and it looked the business in Live for Speed. So we are going to be absolutely spoiled with this one, that is for sure.
And Adal, your thoughts?
There wasn't many drivers today, but tons of action. We even saw a 3 wide in this track, which is crazy, I think. So I'm pretty happy with the racing, pretty happy with the things we saw today. So yeah. And
Cyril has a final thought for us as well.
Yeah, I actually forgot to mention one thing. I think the true winner today is Michael for his amazing trick, I guess, for the rain. That was a really nice surprise to see.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you for piping up, because that had, amid all the excitement, that had completely slipped our minds. Yeah, the rain effect in the sprint race was absolutely incredible. Caught me by surprise. Once again, I'll apologize for stuttering over the grid presentation. I was just mesmerized by the rain effect. That was so good.
Yeah, exactly. It shows how much potential this sim has.
Immense potential. So thank you for that, Cyril. Appreciate you calling attention to that. And I believe that is all from us today. We'll wrap up the broadcast and send everyone on their way to enjoy the rest of their evening and whatever is coming up in their lives in the next few days and weeks. From us here on the team, I want to thank the MRC team, Michael, for putting together this series, New Dimension Racing, the JPs in the background for officiating the races, the Sim Broadcast team, Pete and Mo in our ears, helping us stay on top of the action, Kieran, Adal, in the commentary booth with me. It has been a blast bringing these events to you. All of the drivers who have participated, the viewers who watch, we wouldn't do this without you. So I want to thank you all very much for your participation and your patronage. From all of us here at Sim Broadcast, thank you very much. We will see you again next time. Wherever you are, be safe, be well. Thank you very much, and goodbye.